Hey everybody, chat with nobody else's auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for some Sunday night live chat, more Sunday night shenanigans with all the nobodies. As always, welcome back to everyone. A lot of familiar faces already. John's here, Ryan and Amy are on, Frank from New York, Randy's here with us, Kevin L is on. And let's check over here to Facebook. It looks like we are connected here. Once again, they changed the screen on me again, so I got to kind of relearn that. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. So as you see me glancing back and forth, that's what I'm looking at. So Lee from New York made it with us tonight as well. And let's see, looks like we got a few people jumping on Facebook as well. Of course, all kinds of error messages and everything like we typically get on Facebook, but that happens. It's kind of seems to be par for the course anymore. Bill Wagaman's here with us. Anyway, been a good week. Lots of things happening, shipping a lot of cars out, lots of things boogieing. So David W. is here with us. Kenny's here. Pete's here. Alex back on in New Hampshire on Facebook with us. So looks like Facebook is at least somewhat working. You never know anymore, that's for sure. So, but anyway, Jim's back with us. Eric's on. Number one's here. Gary's on. A lot of familiar faces. I can't believe you guys keep coming back, but you do. Alan from Arizona. It amazes me every week, like clockwork. You guys jump on and hang out and make this thing what it is. Kind of crazy. Jeff's here with us. As always, if you are on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. You'll need to be on the Nobody Show YouTube channel or the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page. This is a shared video to the Nobody Show Facebook page from the Nobody Else's Auto page. If you just want to watch and hang out, you're perfect. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions or anything like that, you'll need to be on the Nobody Show channel on YouTube or the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page. Dad's on with us. Rusty's here. Jason's on. But autocorrect, be sure to check your autocorrect. Keep an eye on that before you hit send. Make sure that it didn't change your words around to something that's all garbled that I'm not going to be able to make out. If I can't make out the comment, I will skip it and go for and keep moving forward. I do try to catch as many comments as I can. For occasionally, I do miss a few, but for the most part, I try to catch them. But we get pretty busy on here sometimes. If I can't make it out, I will skip it. Tim's on. Let's see. Number one is about to carve the bird, so he's going to catch us after dinner tonight. Sounds like a plan. Steel Ponies. Jeff Taylor is on. Eric got his plate. Cool. That was a nice plate. So that was a sweet piece. So watch your autocorrect. Trolls, as always, you guys do a great job of running them off. I'm going to ignore them. They want my attention because they can't get enough at home from mommy. So that's what they're on here trying to do, trying to screw up our chat. I will ignore them. I don't want to have to go to subscription only or member only on this thing. So I appreciate your guys' help on running the trolls off, and so I can ignore them and you guys can make sure that they know that they are not welcome. Lance is here. So anyway, what else is going on? What happened this week? On a sad note to start off with, I'm sure all you saw Loretta Lynn passed away, kind of a country music icon. It's always sad to see that. I mean, a lot of these entertainers, even though weren't personally part of our lives, a lot of the things they did touch us in several different ways. Just like we talked about when Dusty from ZZ Top died, things like that. It's always sad to hear that is happening. A lot of these people, at least I grew up with, and at my age, they were already well established before I was even born. So that's music I grew up on, and never knew it not being there. So it's kind of weird as these legends start to leave us, that to stop and think about what's happened just over the last 50 years, what's changed over the last 70 years. And a lot of these icons in not only music and entertainment, but even in technology and everything that's happened, as we start to lose some of them, it really makes you think about what they did for the world to make it better. And that's kind of what happens when you lose an icon like Loretta Lynn. And that's what I thought it was worth mentioning. So, let's see, lots of comments. Let me get to these real quick. Alec got his plates and actually liked the plate that was repainted. Sweet. It adds to the look for him. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed it. Let's see. Jason got an Auburn wheel knockoff at a flea market. Sweet. That was a good find. Brian Dispatch is on with us. That's right, Tim. And Billy Gibbons is a huge car nut. That's for sure. Big Job's on. Pete had someone tell me, you're getting old when you attend more funerals and weddings. Yeah. How old am I right now? What is this? I am 47, almost 48. I'll be 48 here fairly soon. So I'm 47 right now. Tweedly D's here. Stan's on. Rusty's here. So that's why we touch on some of that stuff when we lose somebody in music and things like that. That's why, even though it's not directly related to the car world, I still like to touch on it and bring it up and recognize that, because those people did affect all of us in some way, shape, or form with what they did and what they accomplished. And it's always sad to hear about losing another one. So Tweedly D likes the airplane. Yeah, we'll talk about the airplane here in a little bit. So what else is going on? What else did I do? Oh, Pete got his sign. So everybody, Pete wanted to let everybody know he's got his Autolite sign from last week from the big raffle. So glad you got it, Pete. Glad you're excited about it. I'm sure you found a perfect spot for it. Obviously, my week consisted of a lot of shipping cars. Been shipping a lot of cars out, obviously, from the auction last week. The results have been posted. If you go to feclassiccarauction.com, just out of curiosity, and look at the 2022 catalog, the results have been posted as far as what stuff brought, and the few things that didn't sell are marked as still available. Tony stopping by to say hello, but has to run to town, so catch us next week. Glad you're on for a little bit, Tony. And that's right, Stan. Cars and music definitely do go hand in hand. That's part of the reason we bring it up as well, because there's not very many of us that, even though radio deletes were pretty common back in the day, there's not many of us that drive our old cars without listening to some sort of music, and it does affect the experience, and it is part of what takes us back in time, and it is part of what helps us reminisce back to those times we enjoyed. It puts us, and sometimes you play the right music in the right car, it puts you back in that time period for a little bit. It's an escape from the real world today. So you're exactly right. They do go hand in hand, and that's one of the reasons why we do touch on it a little bit on here as well. Jason also got some Archer cans. Sweet. Rico and Jess are on with us. Peter from Australia is on. Mark. Oh, I'm not too worried about it, Mark. I'm not too worried about that last dollar. That wasn't a big deal. Alex is youngin'. I guess I'm a youngin'. I don't feel like it anymore. I spent half the day yesterday tearing apart a 54 Dodge car, and I didn't feel very young after I got the doors and front clip and everything pulled off of that thing. So looks like a few guys are getting thirsty, so better throw that up there. Scott's on with us on Facebook. So if you were curious about how things ended up at the auction overall, go to feclassiccarauction.com, hit the 2022 catalog, and you can see the results of what happened last week. So what else is happening? Oh, something else that was important that happened this week. Rocky Mountain Race Week dates were announced. Mark says, I am younger than some of you. Well, possibly so. Rocky Mountain Race Week dates were announced this weekend. So if you guys are thinking about it, trying to get in, or even just road weeking, go ahead and get your hotels made. Mine are already done. I've already got my reservations done for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Like I said, do the whole thing, do part of it, come hang out with us, do road week, whatever you want to do. It's a blast. It's a great time. Load your buddies up, throw your cooler in, and roll down the highway with us. It's going to be a great time. It always is. There's worse ways to spend a week than jumping in your old ride, loading it up with buddies and a cooler of beer, and going and watching drag racing every day. I can think of a lot worse ways to spend a week. So, Bill Disc's on with us. Auburn badge. So definitely mark that on your calendar. Check that out. Look it up. Get the dates marked. And love to see some of you out there. Stan, Drag and Drive rocks. That's right. They're a great time. Big Job says I need to turn the airplane into my office. That would be a pretty narrow office. So what are you going to do with the plane? Turn into a flying service? Actually, no. That plane would not be worth what it would take to get it back in the air. Peter, what's a reasonable 67 Impala four-door worth in the States? Hard to come by in Australia. Just depends on condition, Peter. Obviously, completeness, rust, things like that. Which engine, if it's got an engine. Mike from New Waverly, Texas is on. So that's kind of a tough question to answer, Peter, with all the variables that you can go into a car purchase as far as condition, rust, things like that. So there again, if you've got some more specifics, you can always call me and we can sure talk about it, but it's tough to tell without seeing a vehicle for sure what something's worth. So, but anyway, let's see what else we got popping up. The plane will be a great place we should do a show from the plane. Okay. Put the plane on a pole to advertise. That's what my plan is. Nate's here with us. Yeah, Nate, I've already got rooms booked. Why don't you have your rooms booked? What's the deal? I assume you're going again. So why don't you have rooms booked? I'll send you where I'm staying. So you got a list. Will that help you, Nate? I'll send you the list so that you know where we're staying at so you can get your rooms done. There you go. I'm helping you out, buddy. Don't even know what car's going yet, but Jason, the early 10 Dusters fall color run is coming this weekend in Quincy. If anybody's around Quincy, they got stuff going on up there this weekend. So Slicey Slicer's on. But actually my plans with the plane is I just want to put it out on the corner on the highway because I literally am right on Highway 281. So I want to put the plane kind of out on the corner with a nose sticking out towards the highway. Obviously, we'll be bringing you some more videos from the plane. I got to figure out how to move the plane. We've got some ideas. My buddy Jeff that sprays for me with the crop duster. That one tire will not take air, so he's got him and his guys are gonna. They've got some. It's basically the same tire size as what they use on their air tractors. So he's going to. He's got an old tube from when they changed his tires. And we'll get a tube put in it, and get it rollable. So now the engines are gone, Mark. The engines are long gone. I mean, when this thing blew into a fence years ago. I mean, I tried to buy this thing 6 or 8 years ago, and it was sitting well before that. The engines were already gone the first time I saw it 6 or 8 years ago, maybe even pushing 10 years ago. So this probably, it probably blew into a fence in the early 2000s, maybe even the late 90s. So the engines were long gone. A lot of that stuff's been gone. So regardless, I'm still pretty excited about it. I just got to figure out how to move it and then get it maneuvered around the yard and get the wings back on it and get it set. Eric, do cabs have titles? Some of my cabs do have titles. Yeah, it just depends on which ones they are. Yeah, that's right, Randy. The engines were gone as soon as it was salvaged. Yeah, they have been gone for a long time. That's right, Pete. They're very good. Will drive by and see me sitting in the pilot seat like I'm pretending like I'm flying. That's not out of the question. So, light up the cockpit at night. Yeah, you might be able to do that too. So, just like I said in the video, probably not the smartest thing I've ever bought, but it is one of the coolest, and I'm pretty geeked about it because obviously, as you all know, you've been hanging out with me on here for long enough to know that if there's something I like as much as cars, it's airplanes. Look at that. Well, that popped up. I love airplanes. I love the designs of airplanes. I love the technology in airplanes. I really geek out about them. So even though it's tough condition wise, I'm still excited to have it. Alex says it's cool. Everyone thinks it's cool. Let's see. Bill, what type of paperwork do you need to buy an airplane? I got a bill of sale on this one, and there was an identification number on it. But I don't think there is a title. They gave me a bill of sale on it. That's what I've got. That's right, Kevin. I'm going to have an airplane like they had do at Auburn Court Duesenberg in Broken Arrow. I'll be sitting in it and making airplane noise. That's true. That's another good point, Jason. That is possible. Yeah, and I can't remember it seems like Doug's is a Beach 18 as well, but I'm not sure. I ain't been there since June, so I didn't own this one at the time. I knew about it, but didn't own it. This one I'd kind of actually forgotten about. It had been so many years since I tried to buy it. Let's see. Oh, Tim says the pea picker might get jealous when I sit in the airplane all the time. David W. had Pratt & Whitney engines. Yeah. And actually, another buddy of mine's got another, and I think it's a Beach 18, and they've got mock props on it. So I'll have to see what they did on that. Big Job won't try to top you on bidding on anything that size. Yeah, you don't have to worry about bidding on anything that big for his airplane collection. Big Guy's 45's here. She didn't say much about it, so bought it anyway. It was a twin engine, Alec. It is a twin engine Beach 18 is what it is. I've got some videos of a little place called the Beaumont Hotel in Beaumont, Kansas that a buddy of mine owns. And they've got a plane there on display. Actually, the Beaumont Hotel in Beaumont, Kansas, I think the population is like 61 or maybe 42 or something. But it's an late 1800s era hotel that has been restored. And it is there because it was originally a train station. The original water tower is still there for the railroad. But they also have a grass strip. And you can literally fly into Beaumont, land at the grass strip, and taxi up to the hotel for lunch. Fly there, land, and I mean, I've been sitting there eating lunch, and here comes an airplane taxiing down the street. They have a area called bent prop parking, and we pull them over there, spin them around, shut them off, come in for lunch, come in for breakfast, and when they get done, they get back in, taxi down the street, go out to the grass strip, take off, fly home. Kind of a neat place. I've got a few videos on it, and that plane there I think is a Beach 18, and they do have mock props on it, and that's a buddy of mine's plane too. So I'll have to talk to him and see what they did for it. Hoods and badge, Randy, new title, Captain Chad. Don't quite know about that. So that's right, Bill. That's how you live in a small town. You just land your plane and fly wherever you want to go. So. I got a fly over here that's turning into a real problem, though. I don't know where fly swatter's at either. Over here. I got to get prepared. This fly's getting a little annoying. One of the breweries in Rapid City, South Dakota has fire trucks and planes on poles in nearby areas for advertising. Yeah, they definitely catch your attention. That's why I was excited about it. So if you missed that video Friday night, be sure to go back and check it out. And like I said, definitely going to be more coming on that in the very near future as I try to figure out what to do with it, how to get it moved. And emergency brake cable for a 53 Chevy 3100 Tim. I don't have anything there because these old parts trucks, even if some of that stuff's there, you can never get it out in one piece. Perfect, Mark. Yeah, whenever you get a chance to go through those pictures, that would be awesome. I'd love to see some of that stuff. One other thing in open chat real quick I was going to go over with you guys before we move on to the promo model. As you well know, we talk about this on here quite a bit. Old Cars Weekly. Obviously, we talk about the diversity in here a lot, but there again, we showed you the article a couple weeks ago from when they did on the yard. We got another article in here now. Sounds like Jennifer's doing a little better, doing okay. That's good. She's having some good days. That's great. That's always great news, Jason. Glad to hear that. This fly is not going to have a good day if he stops. I'll tell you that. So, but anyway, in this issue of Old Cars Weekly, this is the new one that I just got. Obviously, we've got a 35 Ford panel on the front cover. And we always talk about the diversity in Old Cars Weekly. Fastback Mustang, 63 Lincoln convertible, all kinds of different stuff. This fly is really getting annoying. That's right, no fly zone. It's fixing to be a no fly zone. Don't stay off my water glass. He will now. Finished him off. All right. Problem solved. Another cool article in here. Ford put America back on wheels, talking about the 40s, watching all the old Fords and stuff. But another article that might look a little bit familiar. Some of you guys remember from last spring when Dad and I pulled a 7598 out of a garage that had been in there for years. Been in that particular garage for over 20 years. The old Big Blue 98. We did some videos on this. The original owner's daughters were there with us. This was a car that was sold new at the dealership where Dad worked at back in the 70s. So they ran that article on the 7598. So thought it's always cool when that works out. So it always geek to see that stuff. Especially, I mean, this is a neat old car. You know, these big old 70s cars are really starting to get popular. Finding a good one is tough. This being a one-owner car, still local, right where it was sold. So a neat article. I was glad that they ran it and pretty excited about it. So like I always tell you guys, if you don't get old cars, get it. It is so cool. The diversity that they put in here. Like I said, 35 Ford panel, 75 Olds 98, wartime Ford, 63 Lincoln convertible, an article on professional cars, the Professional Car Society show, all kinds of hearses and ambulances. I mean, just that's what's so great about Old Cars Weekly is they have so much cool stuff in every issue. It is not the same thing every time, and that's what's cool. Yeah, this is old car. It was called Old Cars Weekly. Now I guess it's just called Old Cars. Pete read the one on the yard. So this is the new one. I just got this the other day and was excited to see they ran the 7598 in it. So Frank likes the old Delco sign. I live about 5 miles from that place. Well, Frank, we're giving that one away at the end of the month, so be sure to get your raffle tickets in. But anyway, that's kind of what I've got for open chat. We got some Hudson badge going on. Time to move on to a promo model. As always, we get a promo every week. We're going to check out some cool badges and emblems, and then we are going to get into auction stuff tonight. I actually, since I had a little more time to get things ready, we got a little bit better mix in the auction stuff that we've had the last couple of weeks. Leo says, great shows. Thanks, Leo. Appreciate that. Alex says, I have to look into a subscription to that magazine. It's well worth it because it's not the same thing. That's what I love about it. You literally don't have to guess which color the 69 Camaro is in this issue. You know, it's like every other magazine you pick up. What color is the 69 Camaro? And does it have an LS or is it a car? Or is it a basic old small block? Almost a guarantee. That's what's cool about old cars. It is very diverse. The editor is him and I are about the same age. He's a great guy. He's got a great eye, and they thrive on diversity. They want to mix it up. They want to cater to as many people as they can with so much cool stuff. So anyway, on to tonight's promo model. This is one, actually, this had these for a long time. And actually, Dad got these when they were new. So that's how long we've had these around. I've got two of these now of this particular color. And actually, because of I actually want one of these cars just because I've had these promos literally since I was basically 5 years old. Little dusty. We'll spiff it up a little bit and check it out. On the 1979 Cadillac Coupe de Ville promo. Now, like I said, Dad got a batch of these at the dealership. I've got two of them in blue. There were four colors that I know of. There was this light blue, teal, yellow, and red. I know we had them all at one time. I think Dad still got some of them. I have two of them. They are both in blue because I had a blue one for years. I've always had a blue one. It is big and blue, that's for sure. But then my grandpa, which was Dad's dad, he had a blue one as well in his office. And when he passed away, I got that one. I think that's this car here. Because he smoked a pipe, and this one's kind of got a yellow interior. So I think this one came from his house. But these are in good shape. This one is missing the hood ornament. My other one does still have the hood ornament. These were a sunroof car. Kind of an interesting thing about these. Like I said, I do know these were available in this blue, teal, red, and yellow, because I know we had those colors. I don't know if Dad still has them all or not. I really, really want a teal one. I don't know why, but the teal one just always appealed to me. What's interesting about these, and I assume they're all this way. I've only got 2 blue ones. I don't have any of the other ones here to look at. But this has a white interior, obviously. It has a white bottom. And these appear to have been painted. So maybe Bill can clarify on this. When you look at this car up close, if you look over here, it's very, very thin. So I think they painted the bodies those different colors and then just put them together. They were all the same thing, and they painted, picked 4 colors. You can kind of see how it gets pretty thin over here on this side. So Pete, I don't have any of these in the yard, actually. Pete, I've got one 4-door that's like a 78, but I don't have any of these Coupe de Villes. But I've never, since 79, I've never not had a 79 Cadillac promo around. So I kind of actually want a 79 Coupe de Ville because of that. Preferably teal. Teal is my favorite color. I do not have the teal promo model of this. That is one that I definitely want to get. I almost bought one a couple years ago. We were at an antique store in Kansas City, and they had a teal one, and I was trying to get a hold of somebody to get the key to get it out of the case. And they're like, you don't have a mask on. You got to have a mask on to be in here. It's like, sayonara. And I walked out. So I didn't buy that one. So I'm still on the lookout for a teal 79 Coupe de Ville promo if anybody has one sitting around. And I would actually kind of like to have the red and yellow to go with it as well. But the teal one, for some reason, always appealed to me. But obviously, this is in pretty good shape. It's not beat up. But obviously, these have been, ever since they were new, we've had them. They've always been on our shelves. Big job. Lowriders would be in heaven with the real thing. Yeah, they're getting popular not only in the lowrider community, but even in the collector car world, because these cars are over 40 years old at this point. So these did have a little bit of stuff on the bottom. You can see just the molding of it. These were a Johan. If we can see it up close on the right behind the front bumper. Let's see. Stan, my family's not into cars, so I've never seen one of those promo cars. Jeff, yeah, they are painted. I have a Persian lime Eldorado with white interior. I think I've got that one too. I've got an Eldorado that is kind of a lime color. So we may end up seeing that, Jeff. So stay tuned when we get to that one. I bet it's just like yours. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, that these were actually painted. The bodies were painted. And so like I said, this is in good shape. Johan, all the wheels, hubcaps, but there again, this was on my grandpa's shelf. My other one's been on my shelf, and I think Dad still got some too since they were new. So they were never played with or abused. But to this day, even still one of my favorite promos, just because they've been in my life that long. I remember them when I was kids, and I really want a 79 Coupe de Ville just because I've always had the promos. So anyway, there we go. Even though it's not a real old one, it's still a super cool promo. Great condition, factory sunroof showing off in these on the Johan 1979 Cadillac Coupe de Ville promo models. All right, Bill. Yes, they are. They has been painted. Johan did that to save tooling costs. That's all right. I've got a hood ornament on my other one, Bill, so I'm not extremely worried about it. Like I said, I think this one was Grandpa's anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm still happy to have it. But yeah, that's what I figured. I knew Bill could clarify that, as well as Jeff also confirmed it too. Alec, my brother had a die-cast one. It was a burgundy color. So, but anyway, there it is, the 79 Coupe de Ville promo model. Weird how you want a car because you've always had the promo for so many years, but hey, that happens sometimes too. That's right, Big Job. I have not seen Norma on here tonight yet. And I've got license plates tonight too. How about some badges? How about an Auburn badge? There we go. As always, we'll start off with a pre-war badge, then we're going to go to a post-war piece. Our pre-war badge tonight is going to be a car that pre-war was a very, very high-class car, a very highly regarded car, very beautiful cars. A lot of them are considered full classics in today's world. Mark, bring out them stinking badges. There we go. But so this badge here, it's got a couple of chips in it, but it is a very, very pretty badge. And I've actually got a whole grill shell with this badge on it as well. So, But this badge we're going to check out first, and there were various versions of them. I did not realize there were this many versions of them until I went to my favorite website, AmericanAutoEmblems.com, and realized there were multiple versions of the 1928 through 1932 Packard. Like I said, this one has a few chips in it right here in the black. This piece here looks great. We got another chip in the black here, another chip in the black here. Obviously, this one on top of the, on the grill shell, right by the, appreciate that, guys, right above the radiator. This is a little over 2. It's about 2 1/8 by 1.5 inches. So it's about 2 1/8 tall, about 1.5 inches across. Now, what's interesting about this badge is, like I said, one thing I did not realize is they were, Eric's ready to go. No, this one I'm keeping. And I don't know if I got another one other than the one that's on my grill shell. Or of course now, and I need to get the one out of the grill shell and look at it, because there were multiple versions. You'll have to go to the American Auto Emblem website to see it all, but a lot of the variations were up here in this area in the small detail. Now you can see this is a very detailed badge up here, and depending on the manufacturer that made these, there were some slight differences in this area. So this stuff here, when you look at the differences, that's where we see most of it on the various badges for this area. But like I said, they had several different manufacturers make them. What's cool about this badge is it's 2-piece. Yep. This is actually a 2-piece badge. That comes off. That's something we don't see very often. But remember, this was a Packard. This was a premier luxury car of the day. That's right. It is a piece of art, Kevin. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Norma. We'll have to check and see what's been going on, because it has been 3 weeks since she's been here. And actually, we've had several people the last couple weeks who haven't been on, so I don't know if everybody's busy or what. But and this just slides back on, and it actually just bolts on and then bolts to the radiator shelf from there. This must be the original nut, because it is a very, very thin brass nut. Were they all handmade? That I doubt it. I doubt they were handmade. Jess digs, everybody digs it. Very Art Deco. That's right, Randy. Pete, I thought the old cars article on what if there were no Packards was really interesting. Yeah, they have a lot of very interesting articles in old cars all the way around. It'll be good for a cowboy hat. Yep, it would. So just bolts right on the back. Ooh, that little thin nut holds that together. Got a guide pin, but a very, very pretty badge for that 28 to 32 Packard. But like I said, if you're curious or if you've got one, AmericanAutoEmblems.com shows the differences in this area based on the manufacturers. Alec digs it too. So great piece. Like I said, always geeked to have some of this cool stuff like this, and cool piece to have in the collection. Post-war, we're actually got, it's not even a badge tonight, but it's a cool piece, kind of a badge. Kind of does the same thing. Chris is on with us. They've got a 38 Packard. Zach's on with us. The next piece we've got, and I think this is new old stock. It still has a price tag on it, so I got to kind of soak it to get the price tag off. But it's a very pretty piece, and it is a horn button. So it's kind of an emblem, just a different place. But Big Job says he might be MIA next week as well. So and I know that happens. So, but this one's is a horn button for a 54, 55 era Studebaker. Now, if you guys remember last week, I told you I bought a couple boxes of Studebaker stuff, and there is some awesome Studebaker stuff in this box, or these boxes. This piece here, like I said, from what I found, 53, 54, 55 era, it looks, I mean, all the paint and everything's still intact on the back, nice and shiny on the front. Has a price tag on it from probably 50 years ago for $10 for a new old stock gold Studebaker horn button. So, Bill just called his buddy. He does not have a Cadillac promo. Let me know if he runs across one. Perfect. Thanks, Bill. So that's right, Bill. Clean and simple. That's right. It's upside down. Sorry about that, guys. How about that? Well, your daughter's getting married, Big Job. That's a pretty good reason to not be here. So Ryan and Amy dig it. Yeah, it's a cool piece. And Eric wants to buy this too. There again, there are a few Studebaker badges out of this stuff that I will sell you guys. There are some duplicates. I'm keeping most of it. And when you see some of this stuff, you will know why. But there are some duplicates. This is a single. But out of this Studebaker stuff, there's, I don't know, 10 or 15 badges and emblems. And there's a handful of them that are going to be, that there are duplicates of that we will end up putting into the auction. So Jason found a 27 Buick radiator cap yesterday, but had to pass. Didn't have the change. Yeah, that stuff gets kind of pricey too. So but there we go. This is kind of a cool piece. This is about 3.5 inches in diameter, just to give you an idea. It has the edge on it where it snaps into the steering wheel. Beautiful deep gold and tan colors on the Studebaker horn button. So, like I said, it's not in the original package, but it's not scuffed. It's not scratched. I don't know if you guys can see the shine on that thing and the way the back looks. I'm pretty sure it's Newell stock, and there is a lot of Newell stock in this box. So, pretty cool piece there as well. So, anyway, yeah. Nay, everybody wants to buy the horn button. So tonight, 4 badges and emblems: the 28 to 32 Packard radiator grill shell badge, and the Studebaker horn button from 54, 55-ish era. Let's see. Oh, Ryan and Amy drove the Cummins 47 Studebaker last week, so they got the Cummins swapped into the Studebaker. That's cool. So that's what we've got, the Packard badge and the Studebaker horn button. Now, next week, for the next couple weeks, keep this stuff in mind. Packard and Studebaker, we're going to tie these things together here over the next couple weeks. So keep in mind when as we're doing badges that we started off this week with Packard and Studebaker and see where that we'll see where that's going to take us. It's pretty interesting. So. But I hope you guys enjoyed them. There again, I always try to find some cool stuff. Lots of comments on them, so everybody seemed to really dig them, and which is cool. That's if I find stuff that you guys all think stinks, it's not very interesting. So, a Studebaker. There you go, Zach. There's another badge right there. Packard, Studebaker, and then DeSoto next. But who's ready for some auction time? Like I said, I actually had a little bit of time to do some digging. That's right, Mark. The power work is great on the Packard badge. Mark's ready to go. Like I said, now that I'm just starting to get on an even keel after the auction. I basically lose pretty much almost 2 full weeks because of the auction. But let's see. Everybody's ready. Just got to watch their bank accounts. So I've got the last couple weeks have kind of been just whatever I could find laying around. I actually did have a little bit of time to dig some stuff out this week. So we'll see how it goes and see how things progress. And like I said, and as we get closer to winter, I've got so much stuff I've got to pick up in the shop, things to get cleaned up. So we'll try to do a little better job on the auctions here in the coming weeks than we've done in the last few weeks. I know a lot of you guys still got some cool stuff, but we could have done. I think I could have had some other better stuff out too. So, as always, auction rules. Number 1, every time I show the Hudson badge, any other slice of pie. Auction rules. I will show an item. We'll talk about it. We'll look at it. We'll look at the colors. I'll give you the dimensions. If you like it, throw a bid out there. Please, somebody get things rolling, because if nobody bids on it and everybody waits till the end, then I don't think anybody likes it. So, throw something out there. Let me know there's a little bit of interest to get things rolling. After we get done looking it over, checking it out, giving you the dimensions, looking at the condition, looking at the colors, I will put it on a timer for 2 minutes. There is a delay. We do know that for sure. There is a delay based on your system, whether you're on a phone, tablet, iPad, PC, smart TV. There is typically a delay from anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. Yeah, this is the rules. Yeah. Well, there's not really rules. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to do things. So, So I'll put it on a 2-minute timer. I will tell you when 1 minute has passed. I will tell you when a minute 30 has passed. When a minute 30 has passed, be thinking about your max bid, because like I said, some of these delays are 20, 25 seconds from when you put it in to when it pops up on my screen. I have to go by what pops up on my screens, because we got Facebook up as well. So I will read the bids, because we have bids coming in on Facebook as well as YouTube. Please keep that in mind as we progress through the auction. Payment, check, money order, cash, Western Union, PayPal, friends and family. Has to be friends and family because of the way PayPal changed some of their rules. Plus, if you're buying raffle tickets, you don't get all your raffle tickets without friends and family either, because PayPal takes a bunch of it. So you can pay any of those ways. If there's any questions after the fact, give me a call tomorrow. We'll get it figured out. It's not a big deal. If you're confused and you want to bid, go ahead and bid. Call me tomorrow and we'll figure out how to handle it. Non-U.S. bidders, you're more than welcome to play. However, you have to figure out a way to get me paid, because it costs a lot of money, bank wires, whatever it is. You'll be responsible for those fees, as well as non-U.S. shipping. The small stuff I will ship in the 48 states included in the final bid. If there's something that does have additional shipping, I will announce that when we look at the piece. If you're a non-U.S. buyer and you want to buy for 2 or 3 weeks and get a pile built up, so you only have to pay once and then pay shipping once, no problem with that. Just let me know what you're doing. So after we do the description, when we put it on the timer, I will just set it on my cell phone right here. I will set the stopwatch. I will tell you when a minute has passed. I'll tell you when a minute 30 has passed. Be thinking about your max bid, because if you are going $1 or $2 at a time, as there are a lot of comments being made already, you're probably going to get sniped. We've got some guys that are getting really good, and some of these bids are coming in between 1:56 and 2 minutes, and they're sniping them and hitting them. So please keep that in mind. If you got any questions, just give me a shout. If you want to play and you're still not sure, just go ahead and bid. Call me tomorrow. We'll figure it out. It's not a big deal. It's real simple. It's real easy. So big job. How's Dad getting along? And Alex said something earlier about how Dad was getting along. Just still fighting his ankles. So just slow going when you're fighting your ankles like he is. So let's see. That's right, Mark. Don't put in the wrong amount. Bill Eigenman, just send Chad a blank check. There we go. It'll be a lot more fun at the auctions. That's a good point. That'll work. Good idea, Bill. So anyway, let's get rolling. What do we want to start off with? We have cans, hubcaps, license plates, one toy, all kinds of miscellaneous cool stuff. Oh, we've also got a cheesy batch of Chevy emblems. Everybody's going to get a kick out of that. They're probably not going to bring anything, but it is a cheesy batch of Chevy emblems, which is kind of cool. So, okay, where do we want to start? Mark says, how about the shirt? Well, anybody can buy a shirt. That's not much fun. Zach's is just a big bundle of everything. Let's start off with a basic old can. Nice colors. It's a composite can, so it is cardboard, but it is a cool piece in nice condition with great colors, and that's what matters. On the Skelly Supreme Motor Oil. Cool in the deep blue with the bright gold on the Skelly Supreme. This is empty. It was used at one point. 1030 Skelly Supreme on both sides. Like I said, this is a composite cardboard can. A little bit of damage over here, but still displays great. Like I said, the colors, the logos, that's what's important on these oil cans. And like we talk about, these composite cans are not going to survive. They will literally fall apart when, just sitting on a shelf. So that's something to think about on composite cans. They're starting to get a little more following, but I'm a fan of them. I've got a lot of them in my collection. I'm absolutely not opposed to having them in my collection. This is a standard quart size can. Bottom is clean. Like I said, double Skelly Supreme on both sides, punched on the top. And Alec was at 5, but I've got Dennis at 10 on YouTube. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We are live on the timer. Dennis at 10 is my high bidder. I am going to go ahead and get my notes caught up so I don't get behind right out of the gate. As we tick along on this one, we got Dennis at 10. Great colors. What's it say on the side over here? A premium quality, multi-viscosity type motor oil designed to provide for the maximum engine protection, exceeds all engine manufacturers' tests. Skelly Oil Company, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Alec at 12 on the Skelly Supreme can. Low consumption, high VI, heavy duty. Skelly Supreme motor oil. Alec at 12. Tweely D's already sniffing out the snipers. It's a cool can. Like I said, these cardboard cans, especially when they have colors like that, you see the gold shining off that, and against that royal blue, looks great. So, and we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Alec at 12. Dennis at 15. I think Tweely D's right. There might be a few snipers out there for a can with these kind of colors on it. Dennis at 15. Minute 20 has now passed. Ooh, twirl it around. Minute 30 has now passed. We're down to the wire on this one. If you're thinking about jumping in, now's the time. Dennis at 15. 20 seconds left. Dennis at 15 is the high bidder. 15. 10. 'Just about done. Dennis at 15. And that does it. Woof. Walked away with that one. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That was a steal. I should have brought twice that. So easily, if not a little more than that, in that condition with those colors. Bill's already regretting it. So. Got a couple license plates. Like I said, I did find a couple of big boxes of license plates. I didn't spend much time with them. I grabbed a few cool ones. I need to do some more sorting through them since I got my big license plate collection now. Like I told you guys, I'm going to start digging out some of my boxes and selling off some of the stuff that I've had rat hole for years. So we'll start off with one of those right now. I've got a couple of them tonight, but we'll get started with this one. This is the 1959 Kansas license plate in yellow. Now, I believe the lettering on these were supposed to be blue. It's weird that like most of the blue is faded, but all the yellow is still there. We can see a little bit of the blue up here around the perimeter. 70 Skylark right fender. I do not have a good right. I've got a good left. I don't even remember if I've got any fixable rights. I'd have to look. Just give me a shot tomorrow and I can get you on my notepad and double check, see if I've got a fixable one. But I know the only good one I've got is a left one. On the 1959 Kansas license plate 4036, the back also yellow. A little bit of surface rust up here. And like I said, this blue we see around this perimeter was supposed to be on all these letters. I don't know how the blue faded off almost all together and the yellow is still in this good a shape. I don't understand. So it's kind of a mystery to me. This is a standard size license plate, or standard for what we're used to, like 12 inches. Yeah, just almost 12 inches by 5 3/4 on the size. So Charles is on with us on the 1959 Kansas license plate. So, yeah, hopefully everything's good with Norma. And hopefully everything, yeah, Pete, Norma's going to surprise us coming out after the license plate. That could be true too. Alex going to kick us off at 20 on the 59 Kansas plate. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling on the timer. I will get my notes made as things start ticking down. Alec at 20. Like I said, the back really is in amazing shape. I'm surprised that I just don't understand the blue. The blue to be that faded and the yellow to still be in that decent shape. So as we're ticking along, I've got Alec at 20 kicking us off on the 59 Kansas plate. And I need to be looking at what we're going to do next. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of this one. Be thinking about if you're going to jump in on the 59 Kansas plate. Alec at 20. Prison paint, yep. Is it going to be everybody going to make it this easy on Alec? Minute 20 has passed. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. And 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. If you're going to jump in on this one, now's the time to be thinking about it, because with your delay, we're going to be just about done by the time you see this. 20 seconds left. Alec at 20. 15. Eric at 22. 10 seconds left. 5. I'm not sure what that was, John. I've got Eric at 22 because I'm not sure what your bid was. And that does it. Eric at 22 and John, it was a 23 and John fat fingered a key as well, but it was too late by the time that came in because I couldn't understand it. I don't think you wanted to pay $2,000 for it. But when we were hit 2 minutes, it was Eric at 22. But don't worry, John, we got a couple more license plates to go yet tonight. That's right, John. The yellow with the least amount of pigment should have faded fast. Yeah. Auburn badge. Let's do kind of another cool little emblem ornament kind of type thing. I'm going to do this by itself because I think it's a pretty cool piece. We'll see if you guys think so as well. This is a 1960 Pontiac fuel door emblem. This is a great piece. This is kind of a little statement piece. Not huge. Like I said, it does mount on the fuel door. I'll give you the dimensions on this thing. It is 3 1/4 by 1 7/8 inches. 3 1/4 1 7/8 inches. Mark's starting us off at 20 on the 60 Pontiac fuel door. This was in the rear of the car. The fuel door was in the center of the rear tail panel. This was right on it. This is stud mount. It's not perfectly flat. It had a little bit of a curve to it on that tail panel. It does have a little tip here where you could catch that to open your fuel door. Mark is at 30 on it. So several bids coming in already. It looks like, yeah, it does kind of look like a night shield. It does. It's got kind of the star over here. It's got the dots in here. It's got the fin parts in here. And it's got the dots across the top as well. But cool piece, nice chrome, bright shine, and several bids already. But as of right now, Alec at 30 is my high, or excuse me, Mark at 30 is my high bidder. Alec just put a bid in, but it was under the, okay, now Alec is now the high bidder at 32. So I had ESPN. I knew that Alec was going to be the high bidder coming up real shortly. Yeah, right. So Alec at 32. Let's get this thing live. We are on the timer on this one. Alec at 32. Mark at 35. It is a neat piece. It's just, it's not huge. It's not tiny. Just a nice, cool little piece. So. And I've now got Tweedly D at 36. Big Job says there's going to be snipers on this one. Alec at 37. Yeah, especially when these are going $1 and $2 at a time. That's a perfect opportunity for a sniper. That's for sure. Mark at 40. And we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We are on the back side of this thing. Mark at 40 is our high bidder at the halfway point. That's right, David W. That is a tough one to find. It's a 60 only piece. It is a very pretty piece, nice chrome, cool shield. Mark at 40. A minute 20 has passed. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. So we're coming down to the wire on this thing. Mark at 40 is our high bidder. Be thinking about your max bid if you're going to jump in. Mark at 40, 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. 5. Alec at 50. And that does it. Alec played that one just right, about 157. That 50 came in, and that did it. Alec at 50. Well played. That's right. That was a pew 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 pew. That was Alec got that one just about dead on. So I think Alec's got his delay down when he's ready to play ball. So all right, let's do something different. Who remembers Toy Tuesday a few weeks ago? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I don't know. It's all kind of last couple weeks. The last 2 or 3 weeks is kind of a blur to me. So must have been a week and a half ago. So I think we did toys last week. It's all kind of jumbled. Gee, who remembers the GMC postcards? Who remembers there was a couple of duplicates? Now you got a chance to get them for you. The platform model. Kind of a stake bed truck delivering a load of lumber. GMC logo on the back. The COE. Tweet that he's already at 10. He ain't even seen them all yet. He's messing around. He says, let's get going. The GMC COE 450 series trucks. And the last but not least, the half-ton light-duty built for keeps card. This is a little bit different. It does not have the postcard stuff on the back. This is the one that we all decided had its place for the dealer stamp, like a handout thing. So I've got Tweedledee at 10 on the postcards. All three, one bid. Tim at 12. Mark at 15. You're going to get all three of them. One-shot deal. Cool pieces. Great colors. Tweedledee at 20. And let's go ahead and kick this one off. We are live on the timer. Tweedledee at 20 is my high bidder. Mark, not anymore. Mark is at 23. So let's see. Mark at 23 is my high bidder on the three GMC postcards. Just selling them all together. One-shot deal. Kenny at 25. Two of them say GMC on the back. One of them does not. And we're working our way towards the 1 minute mark. Kenny at 25. Everything kind of quieted down. We'll see what happens here in a few seconds because we're past the 1 minute mark now. I'll let you know when we hit 120 and then when we hit that 130 mark, which means we're just about down to the wire. So Mark's in at 27. Kenny's at 28. Tim's at 30, and a minute 20 has passed. We're coming up on that minute 30 mark. I've got Tim at 30. I've got Mark at 32. And a minute 30 has now passed. We're coming down to the wire on this one. I've got Mark at 32, Tim at 35. All three of them one-shot deal. Tim at 35, 20 seconds left to go. 15. Mark at 36. 10. Mark at 36 is my high bidder. We're just about done here. Tweedly D at 37. Kenny at 40. And that does it. Kenny at 40 was what we had at 200. Congratulations to Kenny on that one. You guys are getting pretty good at this. Some of you guys are getting really good at this. So, that's right, Alec. There was a lot of action on the postcards. They're kind of neat pieces. They really are. Those are bad. How about a hubcap? We haven't done a hubcap yet tonight. That's right, Alec. It does. It makes it a lot of fun. That's why we do it. It is a lot of fun. It helps cover what I put into this time-wise financially. It it thins out some of my duplicates and it adds to your guys' collection, which is, I mean, it's a win-win-win is how I see it, and I hope you guys feel the same way about it. But we do have a few caps tonight, so we'll go ahead and squeeze one of those in. This is a Studebaker cap. I think this is an early 60s. It is stainless with the Studebaker S, just kind of similar to the one that we just saw on the horn button, kind of the narrow upright S. No problem, Mark. We got her figured out. So the Studebaker, this has some dings and dents in it. Nice stainless shine. This is an all stainless cap. I think it's early 60s. It's got kind of this mag wheel type looking thing going on here. So, I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but it's kind of a cool looking, like, other than anything, it's like a mag wheel, like these were cutouts of a mag wheel with a Studebaker S in the middle. Some dings and dents, great shine, cool piece. Mark's going to kick us off at 15 on the little Studebaker cap. Let me give you a dimension on this, and then we'll get it on the timer. It is just over 10 inches in diameter, so same size, comparable to the other small caps that we sell. Like I said, I'm thinking early 60s era. Alec is at 30 on the little Studebaker cap. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. That's right, Kenny. It is the same type of S as the horn button, so kind of a neat little piece. I just love the mag wheel type looking thing in there. I don't get where they were going with that, but if you literally, those, maybe they were black originally. Maybe they were black with kind of an argent in here. The center was an argent, but I can't tell if these were. But if those were like an argent or something to match the center, it would literally kind of almost look like a mag wheel type thing. So that's right, Anthony. That's the best way to put it. It's just a good bunch of nobodies. Alec at 30. Give you one of those while we're waiting. How about that? Eloy's on with us. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark on the little Studi cap. And 1 minute has now passed. A few more guys jumping back in with us. Glad you guys are making it tonight. Coming up on the minute 20 mark. I've got Alec at 30 at this point. And a minute 20 has now passed. When we get to that minute 30 mark, if you're going to jump in, it's time to be thinking about it, depending on your personal delay on your personal device. But a minute 30 has now passed on my end. So we'll see if anybody's going to jump in on this one or if Alec's going to walk out of here with this one at 30. Alec is our high bidder at 30 with 20 seconds left to go. X-Ray made it. 15. Alec at 30. Kim at 36, 10 seconds left. 5. Zach at 39, and that does, whoa, Zach, that was like 158 and change. Charles came in at 41, right at the 202 mark, but Zach at 39 was who we had at 2 minutes. Yeah, Kevin says it'd be cool if the center matched the horn button in gold. Yep, that's true. Let's do a twofer. Let's have a Hudson badge. And if we're going to do a twofer, let's have an Auburn badge. On these flattened out cans, they're kind of like a sign almost, a little miniature sign. They're a little rough, but it's kind of cool. So let's check them out. We've sold a few of these. They're obviously not as cool as like a really nice pristine can or a really nice sign, but they're also a fraction of the price, and they're still cool. One of these we've done in the past. Oh, I just hit the wrong button over there. Let's see here. Let's get this straightened out. I think Jason got one of these earlier. I've got another one of these and then one different one, but we're going to sell them together in a one-shot deal. The first one is an El Rico Fleet motor oil can. These were flattened out as kind of a patch. This does have some rust in it, but it's got some super cool stuff on it. It's got the airplane up here. It's got the race car on it. Fleet has part of the El Rico badge, just like the sign that I just recently got for El Rico, which was local to me, the El Dorado Refining Company in El Dorado, Kansas. This is just, surface rust on the back. There is a little bit of rust out in it where this can was flattened out, for probably to patch something, I'm guessing. So there's the first one. David W. is at 15. I haven't seen the second one yet. The second one is not in any better condition, but it is super cool. Jason's at 20. That's right. They may have been to Patch a Barn. The second one is Kendall, the 2,000 mile oil. There again, some rust out, some surface rust, but you've got the car, the boat, the truck, the plane, another car, a bus, the Bradford grade Penn's Best oil, refined at Bradford, Pennsylvania, Kendall Refining Company on the Kendall. Also, it is surface rusty on the back. I'm going to sell them together because they're kind of tricky to patch, or to package, excuse me. They're kind of tricky to package. So I'm selling them together. Both of them one-shot deal. These were 1 gallon cans is what they were. Alec at 35 is my high bidder as of right now. These are both right at 20 inches, 20 and a half, roughly, by about 9. So these were about 20 inches long, a little over, and about 9.5 inches high, each one. 2 for 1 bid. And let's go ahead and kick them on the timer. I've got Alec at 35 as of right now, is my high bidder. And we are live. We're ticking away on this one. I've got Alec at 35. Let me get my notes caught up so I don't forget to write them down. And we are ticking away. Alec at 35 on the pair, 1 money. Like I said, not great cans, not great signs, but they're, again, a fraction of the price of what even a rough porcelain sign would be that kind of does the same thing. So as we come up on the 1 minute mark, Alec at 35 is the high bidder, and 1 minute has now passed. Both of these, 1 money. You're getting them both, one package deal. Even got a little bit of shine left when the light hits them right. You can hide back here. Alec at 35 as we come up on the 1 minute and 20 second mark. 1 minute 20 seconds has passed. Alec at 35. And 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. We're kind of down to the end of the wire. Alec at 35 on the pair, getting them both one-shot deal. Alec at 35. 20 seconds left. 15. 10. Alec at 35. Jason at 45. And that does it. Jason hit that one just right. Come in there with a few seconds left. Jason at 45 on the pair. Nice shot there. Zach says my last purchase is just plain ridiculous. He approves. Thanks. Appreciate that. We need to do some emblems. We haven't done many emblems, just that one Pontiac badge. Let's do some emblems. We've got one I want to do, and it's going to have a minimum on it, but this is a cool badge, and I don't think we're going to have any problem getting to the minimum. But I do want a minimum out of this because I love them. Even though I've got more, I love these things. Jason's going to use those for the back of his Model T shelf. Sweet. Mark's thirsty, so there we go. Alex says those are cool. Different way of looking at a can. Absolutely. Like Jay said, you line them up on the wall behind the shelf. They look super cool. This badge we're going to look at now, this is an earlier enamel badge, late 20s, early 30s. It does have some chipping. And like I said, I do have a minimum I want out of this because I love them. I love all these enamel badges. This one is a triple diamond international. Late 20s, early 30s. This is an enamel badge. It goes on the grill shell, on the radiator. It was a pressed-on fit like a lot of these that we look at in our badge section of the show. Market's kicking us off at 45, so we got a pretty good start on this thing right out of the gate. We do have some chipping up here. Bill at 60. We're chipped a little bit up here on the blue, and it is bent a little bit right here on the blue, on this top peak. Tim at 75. Back looks pretty good. Nice coloring. All the letters are pretty good. And that's kind of what I was thinking about $75. So I guess we're going to, that means I got to sell it. Even though I've got a better one, I still got to sell this one. I don't like selling any of them, but I guess we're going to sell it. Tim at 75. Alec does have one. I thought you had gotten one once before, Alec. He still bid 50 on it. And he's already got one too. So, but the triple diamond, late 20s, early 30s international, blue center, 2 white diamonds on the side, the international. Let's go ahead and sell it. I've got a high bid at 75 with Tim, and we are live on the timer as of right now. 75 is my high bidder. I've got Kenny at 77. Alec at 85. Wright's Motor Court was at 80. Alec came in at 85 right after that. New blood. All right, Wright's Motor Court's in. Yep, I'm selling it, Jason. I don't want to sell it. I just don't like selling it, but I don't like selling any badges like this. Yeah, that's right. The spin adds to the selling price. That's right. That's for sure. And 1 minute has now passed. Alec at 85. 1 minute, almost to the minute 20 point. Alec at 85. And 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. Alec at 85 is my high bidder. 20 seconds left. 15. 10. 10 at 100. And that does it. Tim at 100. That was a good shot, Tim, right there at the end. Nice shot. Good job, guys. Thanks for playing. I had a lot of fun with that one, too. I got an idea. Got me one of them idea things. Tim's his first win and his first snipe. Congratulations, Tim. You got it right. It's about 155, 156 when it hits. So I can wipe my tears away with the money. Yeah, but they don't have as many enamel badges, and I like enamel badges. Of course, we got quite a pretty good sized collection the way it is, but still, it still hate selling any of them. Alec even says, "Nice win, Tim." And that's what's great. Everybody on here is such a great sport. So, who wants to do a cheese badge? Cheesy badges. Anybody want to buy some cheesy badges? They probably won't bring anything, but it was such a cool idea. It's like, I've got to sell these badges together because it is a super cheese bundle. It is a cheesy bundle of badges. Anybody in? And actually, what's kind of cool about it is, it did hurt. That's for sure. Doing that kind of thinking hurts. So, Zach said he likes cheese. It's great. This is a cheesy batch of Chevy badges. Bill, the money makes over this is going to go into Nobody Auto Airlines. We ship daily. All right, these are all 80s plastic badges. And we're going to start off with a basic Chevrolet. This is like off of a Caprice or something trunk. Basic plastic, trunk badge Chevrolet. 10 inches, almost 10 inches long. It was double-sided tape, chrome Chevrolet. Okay? Pretty basic. But I want to throw a regular Chevy badge in since it was a Chevy deal. Alex just says, why not? Sure, I'm in. The next one in the cheese badge bundle. Citation. Who remembers the citations? Yeah. The citation badge, in case, just on the long shot that anybody cares, the citation badge is 4 5/8 by 2.5. So 4 5/8, 2.5 on the flags. I don't want to call them rally flags because it's a citation badge. So we've got the Chevrolet, we've got the citation, and we got one more. What else? What else is going to really round out the Chevrolet cheese badge bundle? The Chevette. Oh, yeah. It's even got a bow tie on it. Once again, plastic, early 80s. This is probably 80, 81 Chevette. Citation, probably the same window, 81, 82. This was used early to mid 80s. Eric's going to bid 10 on them. Pete's at 15. The Chevette is 5 3/4 from the tip of the bow tie to the tip of the T. 5 3/4. Pete at 15 is my current high bidder, and it is 1 5/8 inches tall on the C. Even that badge should have stayed on the car when they crushed it. Yeah, but look how much fun we're having with it. Kenny says he was in on the citation badge, but he's looking for a smaller one. So that just ain't going to work for his citation project. So there we go. David W says, can we bid in pennies? I've already got a $20 bid from Mark. No, I got a $22 bid from Zach on the Chevy cheese badge bundle. I warned you it was going to be cheesy. We're going to put it on the timer. I've got Whiskey Zach at 22. We are live on the timer. And now, I told you it was a cheese badge bundle. Was I correct? So I need to know if you guys think that I used the correct statement when I described it. But I've got Zach at 22. Everybody says I got it right with the description, so lots of thumbs up, and you are correct. So, but I've got Zach at 22. Mark's at 25. These are all plastic. They were all double-sided tape, but they are not broke. And 1 minute has now passed. I've got Mark at 25. The Chevette is the government cheese. Mark at 25 on the super cheese bundle. X-Ray was looking about Wisconsin. 20 seconds left. David W. brings up a great point. At least they're still better than stickers. That's for sure. And 1:30 has now passed. We're just about down to the wire on the cheese bundle. You're going to be out of time on these. Mark at 25. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Coming out of the wire, I've got Mark at 25. And that does it. Mark at 25 on the super cheese. Oh, and Zach tried to come in at 27, but he was a little bit late. That's right, X-Ray. They will be rare someday, just in case anybody cares. But Mark at 25, even though Zach tried to snipe him, he was about 2 seconds too late. That's right, Alex. At least the Chevette does have the bow tie with it. That's for sure, too. So, a lot of fun with cheese. Maybe we'll have to do that again sometime, because it was kind of fun, actually. Yeah, Zach popped up about 2 seconds after 2 minutes passed on my clock. And, sometimes you guys do see it sooner than I do, but all I can go with is what I see at the 2 minute mark. That's why, I always encourage you guys at the 1:30 to go ahead and get in. No, we don't have Cheesy Ford tonight, but I guess I need to get on that now. I'll do some looking around. We'll see if we can come up with some Cheesy Ford stuff. I got a cool can, actually. all right, Bill. See if I can find some escort badges. Yeah, a couple of those did come from that other yard I was at. That's true. This can is super cool. It's beautiful condition. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit off course from what we usually do, but it is so great. This is an IH cream separator milker pump oil can. Still full. I will have to drain it because it is heavy. Need some Lawrence Welk background count music. Looks beautiful on top. Original cap. A little bit of surface rust on the bottom. The big, bold IH logo. International Harvester on the side. That's right. It is beautiful. It is fantastic shape, Pete. You're 100% right. Awesome paint. Bill's going to kick us off on 30 on this one. Let me give you the dimensions on it, and then we'll get it on the timer. It is almost 7 inches, not counting the cap. If I go up to the cap, I'm about 7.5. Super cool. This is a painted can, beautiful condition. That's right. I do have some Pinto badges laying around, Jason. So Alec is at 15, but I've got Bill at 30. I've got Jess at 40 on YouTube. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer. Let me make my notes here. David W. at 50. Jess at 55. Tim says, "Uh-oh, he already spent all of his allowance." But it is a great can. It is a cool piece. That's right. It is Jess's birthday month. She may be a little tough on this one. Milking machine and cream separator. I assume that's a milking machine and cream separator. Probably use the same thing. 1 minute has now passed. Jess at 55. Pretty much the same on both sides except for the description. 120 has passed. Tim says it's his birthday month too. He might have to treat himself. Jess at 55. We're up to the minute 30 point. We have now passed 1 minute 30 seconds. Jess at 55. 20 seconds left to go. Ten. Bill at 58. Tim at 70. And that does it. Tim at 70. Woo. Bill at 58 and Tim at 70 all happened within the last 3 seconds. But Tim got in there at 70. I've got 2 license plates. They're kind of related. I don't really want to sell them together because they're pretty nice shape. But I want to sell them back to back because they are kind of in the same window. So let's do 2 license plates, 2 separate auctions. We'll do them one at a time. We've done a lot of 70s era plates, so I'm looking for some stuff other than that. I've got some early 60s era stuff tonight. A 1962 Kansas. Dark green background, white letters, rolled a little bit on this edge. Tim says he better behave now. 197, a low number plate. Still looks great considering it's 60 years old. We see the little Kansas cut out on the corner. Like I said, a dark green, white lettering. Kenny at 20, Mark at 20. So I had Kenny first on the 1962 Kansas plate. Tweedledee at 25, Mark at 25. I had Tweedledee first. Mark, you keep getting beat here. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off and get it rolling on the timer. Zach just throws 40 out there and takes care of everybody. Mark tried to come in again, and Zach already outbid him. Mark, you're just not having much luck. Kenny at 42. Just says if it's your birthday month, you don't have to behave. So, yeah, this is a nice place. Nice plate. It is cool. Kenny at 42. as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark on this one. 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside. That's right, Kenny. That's another great point. God bless Rico. I wish he owned stock in the liquor store near Rico's house during Jess's birthday month. So, Kenny at 42. 1 minute 20 has passed. A minute 30 has now passed. We are on the backside of this. If you're going to jump in on this one, be sure to be ready. Kenny at 42 is my high bidder as we are coming down to the wire on the 1962 Kansas plate with 20 seconds left to go. 15. Mark at 45. There you are, Mark. Mark at 45. We're coming down to the wire. Kenny at 46, and that does it. Holy cow. And Charles at 50, but I had Kenny at 46 when we hit 200. You tried, Mark. You sure as heck tried. Now, like I said, we're going to do another plate that's kind of somewhat related. We're going to do a 63 plate. Yep. The opposite. White, green letters, Kansas 63, very low number, plate number 75. A little bit more surface rust on this one. Not terrible, but there is a little bit of surface rust in some of these edges, some of these corners. The back, same thing. Original white paint with a little bit of surface rust. Still has the old bolts and wing nuts on that one. I probably should have taken those off, but that's all right. You can have those too. Eric's in at 15. This, once again, standard size plates. I should have showed you that on the other ones. 12 basically by just under 6. Holy cow, lots of bids coming in. Tweedledee at 30 right now is my high bidder. Bill, Rico needs his own moonshine still. Tweedledee at 30 is my high bidder. We are on the timer on this thing right now. Daniel, 08 Show Silverado, short box. I do not have, don't have any boxes for that. Eric at 35. Mark at 37. I don't know of anything like that, Daniel. No, and finding a clean short bed at an affordable price is almost impossible because short beds are worth so much money, and those all rusted out. Don't have any idea on that at all. But we are coming up on the 1 minute mark on the 1963 Kansas plate. I've got Mark at 37. And 1 minute has now passed, so we are on the back side of this thing. Better give you one of those. You guys get right getting thirsty. And a minute 20 has now passed. And we're past, we just hit the 1 minute, 30 minute mark. Alec, or any of you guys on Facebook, I'm not seeing anything from you. If you guys are bidding, I'm getting nothing on Facebook. And maybe you're just not players on these. That's fine. 20 seconds left to go. I just wanted to let you know I'm not seeing anything on Facebook. So 15. Mark at 37. 10 seconds left. John at 41. And that does it. John at 41 is our high bidder on the 63 plate. That was a rough segment for you, Mark. All right, perfect, Scott. Thanks. Thanks for throwing that out there. So I know Facebook is still feeding. So Rico sitting here quietly halfway through the birthday month. Yeah. How about a hubcap? We got a couple of more hubcaps I want to do. We got a couple more cans. We got some more badges. That's right, Chevy. It's been pretty tough on you, Mark. Auburn badge. All right. Jess says Rico's here. She's supervised. Okay. Except I think she's already got this though. So I think we're okay. I think Jess already has this. So I'm going to go ahead and sell it because I think she's already got it. Yep. It's a Nash piece. It's a cool little Nash cap. Pretty decent chrome, typical dings and dents. Scott just doesn't have any wall space left. Well, that can be a problem too. Does have some surface rust on the back. The whole perimeter is still intact, but it does have some surface rust. Jason's kicking us off at 20. Mark's at 30. This is just a tick under 10. About 9 7/8 across the back on this one. Jason at 35. This does appear to be original paint. Still has a pretty good shine on it. You can see like the mirror reflection and everything. Yep, Jess does have it. I figured you did. That's why I figured I'd go ahead and sell it, because I thought you did have it. So let's kick it off on the timer. Mark at 37. Rico says, no, actually, she has 9 of them. The Jewish redneck prepper's on with us. Glad you swung by. And we're ticking along on the Nash cap. Something kind of different. What do we want to do next? We got some more cool badges to do, that's for sure. A couple more cans, another hubcap. I've sold the Pontiac Chief hood ornaments. Over the years, I've sold a lot of them. I don't know what I've got right now. I don't think I've got any light-up ones right now. As we hit the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed on the cool little Nash cap. Mark at 37 is my high bidder. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. As we hit the minute 30 mark, I've got Mark at 37. Jess's birthday is the 15th. Next Saturday. 20 seconds left. Mark at 37. Everything's quiet. 15 seconds to go. 10. Zach at 41. Bill Disk at 47. And that does it. Bill Disk at 47. We haven't done any matchbooks tonight. Let's do some matchbooks real quick. Some ag matchbooks. How much did you sell the International D Series truck for? Depends on which one we're talking about, Martha. I've got several of them. I don't know which one you saw or anything like that. So, and Tim's is the 17th. So we're all kind of right there in a row. There again, we've been mixing in some matchbooks. You know, these aren't super high dollar pieces, but they're still cool. A basic IH, pretty clear cut. IH. Alice Chalmers. Even a little bit on the inside of the Alice. Next Sunday's going to be a hangover day. And a John Deere Quality Farm Equipment from the Fred Miller Company in Galion, Ohio. John Deere 2-cylinder tractors on the inside. That gives you some idea on the age of this one. Jeff just says he isn't getting any older. Well, that's kind of weird that Jess, I, and Tim are all in a row. That's kind of weird. All three matchbooks, one money. I've got Jess at 17 on the ag matchbooks. Let's get this thing kicked off on the timer, and I will make some notes. Mark at 20. The Alice one's pretty cool. The graphics are kind of small, but I want you guys to get a better look at that if you can. John, do not have any 34 Chevy grill shells. I assume you're probably talking car. I've got a truck, a 34 or 35 truck, but I do not have a 34 car grill. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, I've got Mark at 20. 1 minute has now passed, so Mark at 20 on all three, one bid. And a minute 20 has now passed. As we hit the minute 30 mark, I've got Mark at 20 on the ag matchbooks, Alice, IH, and Deere. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Mark at 20. And that does it. Mark got one finally. Been kind of a rough night for Mark, but he got one done. Finally got one done. How about doing some badges? We've got some badges that I'm out of cheesy badges, but I've got some that we can do. I've got some Chevy stuff. I've got some Ford stuff. But I've got a couple of Chevy big truck badges. I got kind of a big truck badge bundle, a couple of Chevy badges. So let's check these out. Bigger trucks. So, yeah, I didn't know if the cheesy badges would really going to go over that well. So I thought we'll try it and we'll see what happens. But everybody thought it was super cool. So Chad, see everybody Tuesday. Bill's got to jump off. Zach likes big trucks. Any more Nash stuff? Nope, no more Nash stuff tonight, Jess. But let's see. Oh, perfect, Rose. Yeah, just give me a shout on those Delmont parts so we can get stuff rolling on that and get them to your body shop. So, but on the big truck badges, we did one of these earlier. I had a pair. We sold one earlier. This is the other one. This is the last one because I only had two, but they're great. On the 1960 Chevrolet Viking. I mean, look at the shine on this thing. Stud mount. It is pretty flat. Beautiful chrome. I did repaint the black in it, which is chipped up a little bit. It is almost 14 inches long, not quite. And it's just a little over 2 inches tall to the top of the C on the super cool Viking. I mean, just look at this. When the light hits that thing, the shine that chrome still has. Jason's at 20. We ain't even got to the second badge. The next one, C60. This is a mid-60s fender badge. Actually, I got 66 wrote on the back. On the big 60 badge with the bow tie. Obviously, the bow tie was supposed to be blue. Looks like this background was originally red in this ribbed area. The studs are broken on this. This is a pretty flat mount deal, but the studs are broken off of it. You can see where it's embossed in there. But kind of a cool piece. These are medium-duty 60s era Chevy trucks. Zach is in at 21. The Viking emblem is a 60. It is a 1960. That's what I've got it marked. Yep, it's a bundle, Jason. Both of them. So, let's get this thing rolling on the timer. We've got Zach at 21. They're getting both of them. Jason's at 25. And we are live on the timer. Jason at 25. Mark at 30. Zach at 31. They're cool pieces. Alec was at 26. We're already well past that. Mark at 33. Let's see. Lots of bids coming in on these things. Looks like David W. at 35 right now. Holy cow, tons of bids, but they're all $1 at a time. David W. at 35. That's who I showed first. Mark at 37. Alec came in at 35 right after Mark at 37. 1 minute has now passed. Jason at 38. And 1 minute, 20 seconds has now passed. Jason at 38. Alec at 40. That's right. Big job. We're at the dollar store today. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. I've got Alec at 40 as my high bidder. Everybody's playing on these things. We'll see who sneaks in here at the end. I've got Alec at 40. Bill at 42. 20 seconds left to go. 15 seconds left. 10. Bill Disc at 42. Kenny at 55. Zach at 57. And that does it. Zach at 57. There was Kenny, Charles, and Zach all came in at the last second. Kenny and Charles at 55. Zach at 57. Then Charles right back at 60. But we were already done. That one was a fun one too. We had Zach at 57 when we hit the 2 minute mark. Okay. All right, you guys probably wondering why I was on my phone there for a second, because I had to make sure I could sell this one. Auburn badge. Out of license plates tonight, Mark, but we'll have some more next week because I found 2 big boxes of them. I just grabbed a couple. I found these boxes about 3 o'clock today. I grabbed a couple off the top, so we'll definitely have more next week. But I had a toy here that I wasn't sure what to do with it, so I actually sent Addie a picture of it, and I said, keep it or sell it. She's like, you guys are going to dig it, so let's go ahead and sell it. Nice shape, only it's missing 1 wheel. It is a Ford 56, I believe, and it is a kind of a remote control. And here she is. It's a little tin, kind of got this little remote control cable thing. I don't really know how it works real well, but I don't know much about it. Came with some other stuff, but kind of a neat toy, pretty good condition. See the nose of this thing kind of resembles a Ford. The side moldings definitely resemble 56 Ford, but not so much on the nose. I've got the Firestone ashtray in here, yes, as well. So we'll see if anybody's interested in this thing. Addie said we could go ahead and sell it. It is missing one wheel on the back here. It does have a space for a battery. Fortunately, the battery has been long gone for a long time. So it's not corroded, it's still clean. Bill, this is it is a Japan toy. I think it is, but I'm not sure. I would assume so just based on the time period, the construction, things like that is what I'm guessing. But Bill's going to start us off at 30. Put the spare on. Good point. So let's see where this goes. We'll see if we get a few bids on this thing as to what we should go ahead and do with it. Because like I said, I was kind of on the fence. Addie thinks we should sell it. I've got Bill at 30, and I don't think there is a spare. So I don't think we're going to be able to put the spare on. But you guys interested in it? Bill's interested in it. Do we have anybody else that's interested in it? Wide white walls and everything. So should we go ahead and sell it, or should we go ahead and put it back on the shelf? I'm kind of on the fence still. But I need your guys' opinion. Mark says sell it. Okay. That's kind of what I figured you guys would want to do. So it does still have the windshield in it. Actually, the back window is, if it had, I don't think it had one because the control went in there. Again, he says sell it. Everybody should just sell it. So let's sell it on the little tin Ford car. I've got Bill at 30 starting us off. We're going to kick it on the timer. Bill just said, Bill, this is just cut the cable off and display the car. Yeah, you could do that too. That's for sure. Bill at 30. We are on the timer. Even kind of somewhat resembles a Ford badge up there. Jason at 35. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. Jason at 35, 1 minute has now passed. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark, Jason at 35. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. We're coming down to the wire on the little Ford tin toy. $20 seconds to go. 15. 10. Jason at 35. And that does it. Jason at 35. That was a smoking deal. All right, you guys want to do the Firestone ashtray again? Auburn badge. Yeah, that's right. Ozark. The front does kind of almost look like a Studebaker of that era. All right, we did this last week. We had a mix-up right at the very end. So please double check before you hit send. Like as we always talk about, double check your comments even when you're bidding. We had this Firestone ashtray out last week. We sold it right at the end. There was a bid that came in, then retracted all within the last couple seconds, and everything kind of went wonky. Everybody agreed we'll just do it again this week. Mark says he'll just watch this time. On the Firestone tire ashtray, these are super cool. Back in the day, they were pretty common. You don't see them very much anymore. This is a Firestone Deluxe Champion tire, tubeless, ribs on it, tread on it, literally an exact miniature version of a tire that they made ashtrays out of. Mark's going to start us off at 30. Eloy was at 25, but I've got Mark at 30. X-Ray Dean at 35. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling on the timer. And let's see, Randy at 40 is my high bidder at this point. Any burn marks? I don't really see any burn marks, actually. I've got Eloy at 45, though, as of right now, but I really don't see any burn marks or anything in the tire itself. Eloy at 45. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute's passed. We're on the backside. I've got Eloy at 45. That's right, Kenny. No problem. It's pretty clean, though. Ozark Foxmere playing with him at the parts store when he was a kid. Yep. Auburn badge. Minute 20 has now passed. David W. at 47. And we are at a minute 30. We are at the minute 30 point. Be thinking about your max bids. I've got David W. at 47 on the Firestone ashtray. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. David W. at 47. And that does it. David W. at 47. Zach came in right after that at 53, but we were already done. All right, so we got her sold that time. That's good. John Anderson just jumped on with us. Well, you're eating barbecue. That's a pretty good reason to be late. Who wants to do some Ford badges? 2 of them. A pair of Ford badges are next. Or Hudson badges next, actually. But these are a little bit different than a typical emblem, but they're still cool. The first one is a 51 front fender molding that says custom on it. Where did I put my tape measure at? Oh, I hid it under a hubcap. 12 inches long, 2 3/4 high on the 51 custom molding. This is stainless steel. Nice shine, some dings and dents. Yep, it is stainless. Custom right in there with the ribs in it. Kind of a neat piece. The next piece, also a little bit larger. This is like, I'm not sure what year this is. I think it's about a 53-ish trunk badge. Plastic center is loose. I forgot to put some silicone in it and glue it back in. It is stud mount. It is pot metal. Has a few pits in the chrome. Decent shine. It is 14 by 3 7/8. 14 by 3 7/8. Jeff's going to kick us off at 20. Two of them, one money. They're both kind of cool pieces. Not your typical emblem, but still definitely cool Ford pieces for our Ford guys. So that one might be a weapon. Oof. Oof. X-ray at 25. Let's go ahead and get this timer started on these things. I'm going to make some notes. You guys check them out. You look them over. You see what you guys think. Should have glued that thing in there. It made it a lot easier to hold. Ozark says 56 custom line is what this is off of. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Big Job says you can get the center emblem new with good color if you wanted to put a new color in it, with better color in it. I've got X-ray at 25 on the pair. Remember, both for one money, shipped to you. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has now passed. Mike's got to jump off. Glad you were here with us for a while. And 1 minute, 20 seconds has now passed. X-ray at 25. We hit the minute 30 mark. We're on the back side of this thing. And we're going to let X-ray walk out here with 25. No, Jeff's back in at 26. Mark at 27. 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 27. X-ray at 29. Bill Disc at 40. 10 seconds left to go. I've got Bill Disc at 40. And Bill Disc at 40. We're just about done with this one. And that does it. Bill Disc at 40. All right, we haven't done a can in a little bit. We got a couple more things laid out here, then we'll get on to the magazine. This also a composite can, but a very nice condition can. I don't think we've done one of these before. On the Texaco Haviland Fuel Economy Tested Supreme Motor Oil. Kind of cool, gold with red and blue lettering. This is a composite can. It is new. It is full, so I will have to drain it. Bill's getting a box put together. Yeah. On the Texaco Haviland Supreme Gold Can, red and blue stripes and lettering. New old stock, has not been punched. I will drain this from the bottom. But once again, a very pretty can. Even though it is a composite can, there again, still not opposed to having, especially when they got good colors, just like the Skelly and just like this one does. Haviland Supreme 10W40 contains special friction reducing additive, reduced friction, trooper tested. Haviland Supreme 1040 for API engine service classifications. Texaco, White Plains, New York. Cool piece, good looking can. So, anybody interested in starting us off on the Texaco? This is a regular 1 quart Texaco Haviland Supreme. Barcode. Yes, it does have a barcode, so it's probably early 80s, I'm guessing. But what's weird is look at that. Look how short that barcode is. That must be like one of the first barcodes ever. Randy's kicking us off at 15. Yeah, Zach, that last box was too heavy to put in the mail, so yeah, I did have to go FedEx. So I'm glad they didn't damage it. But we got Randy starting us off at 15. These are good looking cans. Like I said, the barcode thing cracks me up. I don't think I've ever seen a barcode that short. So got to be probably early 80s is what I'm guessing. And Randy at 15. Let's go and get the timer rolling on this thing. Bill said he'd chase him down if he did that. Yeah. Can't blame you for that. Yeah, Kenny, they are sharp. That's for sure. And like I said, the composite cans I've gotten, there's some plain composite cans, but any composite can with good colors, good graphics, good pictures, I'm still in. Because like I said, I've been in too many barns, too many sheds where these cans will literally, just disintegrate from temperature change, moisture. I've just literally seen them just shrink and fall apart. So I think they're going to be tough to find long term. And 1 minute has now passed. We are on the backside of this one. Randy at 15. Maybe all you guys aren't going to let him have it for 15. That'd be way too easy. As we're coming up on the minute 20. A couple more things after this, then we're going to get wrapped up. But as we hit the minute 30 mark, everybody's going to let Randy walk out of there with this one. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. We're coming down to the end. 20 seconds. 15. Tweedledee at 25. 10. 10 left. Tweedledee at 25. Zach at 26. Jason at 26. I had Zach first. The last couple of seconds. Anybody going to sneak in there? No. Zach's going to get it at 26. All right, two more things. We'll do another badge bundle, then we're going to do one more cool hubcap, and then we're going to move on. We'll do a Chevy car badge bundle real quick. Starting off with a Chevrolet script. This is like a 70s era trunk emblem. The cool cursive script, decent chrome, flat stud mount. It's not broken or chipped. It has a few pits. The edges of the chrome on the Chevrolet still look good. But the Chevrolet cursive script is a good-looking emblem. This one is 6 3/8 by about 2. So it's about 6 3/8 by about 2 here at the high point. Chrome plated on the Chevrolet script. The next one is just a little V8 badge, 60s era Chevrolet V8. The small red, white, and blue flag with the V. Highlander jumping on. Stuck at the firehouse tonight. Well, that sounds like you got important work to do. This is flat. It is stud mount. It is pop metal. Just your basic little V. Nice chrome, good condition on these two Chevy badges. Now, the next one's kind of different, kind of cool, and definitely a little bit earlier. Oh, how big is the V? We need to show you that. It is 4 3/4 on the V. 4 3/4 wide. So we've got these two. This next piece is kind of cute. It's a little horn button. I'm thinking this is like late 40s, early 50s on this little Chevy horn button. I thought this was super, super cool. It is metal, has a little bit of surface rust on it, bright chrome. Pretty unique. It's got the bow tie right in the middle. It's got this shape thing on it. Like I said, this was a horn button. It is pretty flat. Zach at 10. And this is 2.5 inches in diameter. So this is kind of a small piece, 2.5 in diameter. Eric at 25. Mark at 30. Let me get this thing on the timer. Let me see if I can hold all these things. All right, we're live. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. And I've got Mark at 30. Got to add to the cheesy badges, maybe. Yeah, we'll do some more cheesy badges. That was a lot of fun. Yep, we'll definitely. The cheese badge thing was fun. I'll have to keep my eye out for the cheese badge. And they're not a ton of money. I don't expect them to be a ton of money, but it's a lot of fun. So, and we're coming up on the 1 minute mark on these 3 Chevy badges, all one money. I've got Mark at 30, Reno at 35 on Facebook as we hit the 1 minute mark. We've got Reno back in with us. Hadn't seen you on tonight, Reno. Glad you're here. All 3, one money. This little button's kind of hard to hold. I'll do this. I can read the timer from here. Mark at 37. All 3 of them. Mark at 37. 1:20 has now passed. Mark at 37. 1:30 has now passed. We have passed the 1 minute 30 second mark. Mark at 37 is our high bidder. Zach at 41. Reno at 40. Eric at 40. But I've got Zach at 41 already with 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Zach at 41. Reno at 44. And that does it. Reno snuck that one in at about 158. That was a good shot. Reno hadn't been on with us tonight. Shows up, bam, right in there at 158. Takes the win at 44. All right, we're going to do one more cool thing. One more hubcap. And it's kind of a cool hubcap, so that's why I kind of saved it to the end. One more cap, then we're going to be on to the magazine. Then we're going to do a little trivia, and then we're going to talk about the raffle and some new inventory and what's coming up next week. But first, we're going to give you a double shot of the Hudson and the Auburn badges because y'all look like you're getting a little thirsty. Last piece for tonight, super cool hubcap. I think you guys are going to dig it. Pontiac. Chief Pontiac. Check that thing out. Yes, this is late 40s era, I think. Really cool detail on the Chief's head. Ribbed around here. We see a little bit of signs of red here in the background of these ribs, so I'm sure this would have been red with the Chief against the Chief head. Eric's kicking in there right at 30. We ain't even done talking about it yet. Eric's in at 30. Nice and clean on the back. Nice clean cap on the back. Typical dings and dents. I mean, the thing's probably over 70 years old. This one is, once again, right at that 10-inch mark across the back. I've got Zach at 40 on Chief Pontiac. Nice chrome, like I said, typical dings and dents, but nothing real bad on this one. Clean on the back, not beat up. It is a cool piece. Like I said, these are, if you repainted the red, that Chief Pontiac head would really pop. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. I've got Eric and Reno both at 50 at the same time on 2 formats. So somebody's going to have to get us at 51 here to break them up. And that was weird because it's like, boom, they both scrolled right there. Eric at 51. Zach at 52. Reno at 55. John signing off. Glad you made it, John. Appreciate you being here. I've got Reno at 55. How about an Auburn badge? As we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Reno at 55. I had Kenny at 55 also, but I had Reno first on Facebook. Zach at 61. As we're coming up on the minute 20 mark, 1 minute 20 seconds has now passed. I've got Zach at 61. And we have hit the minute 30-second mark. Reno at 63. Reno at 63 with 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Zach at 69. We're coming out of the wire. I've got Zach at 69. Few seconds left on this one. Anybody going to get in yet? And no, that does it. Zach at 69. All right. And Reno came back at 70. We were just a little bit too late. So Reno was still trying. Anyway, a lot of fun as always. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all your participation. We'll have some more cool stuff next week. Hudson. As we get ready to get into the second half of the May 1967 issue of Car Life magazine with a cover price of 50 cents. On the cover, this 427 powered 67 Impala Super Sport, which we talked about last week. We will catch the back half of this magazine tonight, including some classifieds. And as always, anybody has any questions about anything you want on the auction, just call me tomorrow. We'll work it out. Not a big deal. Not worried about it. All you guys have been great to work with. I appreciate all your guys' participation. It's a lot of fun, and thanks for playing. So if you got any questions, just give me a call. No big deal. Pete says it was a fun auction tonight. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate that. So let's get into the second half. Starting off with kind of an interesting article, and that's what's fun about these magazines is we're going back in time, but we're looking at it with 2020 hindsight. We now know whether these things did or didn't happen, which brings us to the first article tonight of exactly what did or didn't happen. Turbines. Obviously, we've talked about the Chrysler turbine cars in 1962 or 63. This magazine is 1967. Obviously, turbines are still in development. Everybody's playing with them. GM's entry, the 309, employs a gear-driven secondary shaft, which is connected to the two independent turbine shafts by a hydraulic clutch. This transfer arrangement maintains the most efficient possible airflow. Ford turbine, the 707, may be the first commercially available GT gas turbine engine in the automotive field. Mass production techniques are now being developed for the 707. So Ford was actually looking at production options for a gas turbine engine. Lots of comments about the auction tonight. I appreciate that, guys. It was a lot of fun. And I do work on the auction pieces as well. I really try to find a cool mix of some stuff that's a little more money, some stuff that's a little less money. I want everybody to play, Some of this stuff was $15-20, and by the time I ship it, I don't really get a lot out of that, but that allows some of you guys that don't have bigger budgets that can't just go throw down $100 on something. It lets everybody play. That's the entire purpose of it. So I do work on that to design it that way, and I'm glad you guys are having fun with it. Tim says he barely dodged the doghouse, but he thinks he's okay, so that's good to know. But anyway, the gas turbine engines, the headline on this article, turbines. Will the waiting game engine ever arrive? Yes, in the 70s, chants the chorus of experts. Well, here we are in 2020, and we still know that gas turbine engines are not in production in automobiles and never have been in regular production in automobiles. Big Block 402 is on with us. You haven't been on in a while. Glad you made it tonight. So there again, kind of interesting when we look back in time. They were expecting this. This is the Ford 707 gas turbine. They were looking at production options for that engine in 67. We obviously know now it never happened, but they're saying right here they expect to see them in the 70s. Zach says we do very well. He spent over his budget tonight. But this actually even showed a big Ford with a gas turbine engine setup in it compared to a diesel engine. And I thought that was very interesting, the way that that was worded. This article, the entire article talked about, they're coming. It wasn't at that point in 1967, they basically planned on them being out in the 70s. Tim, gas turbine locomotives had massive power and massive fuel cravings. X-rated gas crisis killed them. Yeah, it could have been, but obviously we know now in 67, they expected to see them and they were looking at production, but obviously that we know now that did not happen. But that's what's fun about looking back at these magazines. Another interesting article, and this was there again, something to put us back in time. Specifications, 1967 U.S. automobiles, micrometer measurement of the domestic car by the staff of Car Life. That's the headline, okay? And when they say a micrometer measurement, they ain't kidding. The stuff that's in this article, most people today, well, you got to remember now, the owner's manual now says don't drink the battery acid. Remember that? The new owner's manual, don't drink the battery acid. Don't suck exhaust fumes while the car's running. Don't drink the gasoline, stupid stuff like that, right? Well, look at what they cover in this article compared to what they have to do for people today. Models and prices. The base price and the engine options for all of these. That's right. Old owner's manuals told how to adjust valves. That's a good point. Big Block 402. Ken Nolan's here with us. But this gives, the first part gives us base price and engine options available. Chevrolet, for instance. Chevelle, the base price of a Super Sport Coupe, $2,825. Engine options. The 350 horse 396 over the SS 396 was $105 for the big 396. New Camaro convertible, $2,809. And we sold one last week for $54,000. But that's what's cool. It breaks all this stuff down. I'll try to hold it up, at least part of it up a little closer so you guys can get a little better idea of what this thing looked like. So obviously some pretty basic information right there. Base price, engine options, different models. Pretty clear cut, pretty basic. Specifications, general data for all manufacturers. This is getting a little bit tighter. Big Job's got to bail off, catch the rest of the morning. Perfect. Big Job, glad you're here. Standard engine, curb weight, wheelbase, front tread, rear tread, overall length, overall width, overall height, frontal area, rear hip room, front hip room, head room, turning circle, tire size, fuel capacity, engine options. Okay. Still some stuff that's fairly basic. A lot of people would probably understand a lot of that. Overall height, headroom, things like that. Gives it all, breaks it down. Big, huge chart. We can see the manufacturers over here. Gives you the models. And gives you a lot of these specs. Wheelbase, I mean, most people don't pay attention to that anymore, but it gave it all to you. Most of this stuff, your general person could probably understand a lot of this. Okay? I'll hold it up here for a few seconds. You guys can get a better look at it. Next page. Here's where you would lose pretty much everybody in today's world. 1967 specifications by manufacturer, engines, general and tune-up data. Okay? This is consumer information. Engine, total number of cylinders, displacement, bore and stroke, compression ratio, carburetor, units and barrels, how many carburetors, how many barrels, brake horsepower, torque, valve lifters, cylinder block bore spacing, carburetor maker, carburetor model, barrel diameter, primary and secondary, fuel pump pressure, exhaust tailpipe diameter, radiator coolant capacity, radiator cap relief pressure, coolant flow, fan diameter, fan drive ratio, spark timing, spark plug gap, breaker point gap, dwell, centrifugal advance, vacuum advance, all these specs specifically listed for these engines. And it broke them all down all the way up from the inline 4-cylinder in Chevrolet, because yes, Chevrolet did have a 4-cylinder, all the way up to the 427. Pontiac, Ford, GM, all of these things. And this is going to be, like I said, today I tell you not to drink the battery acid. They're giving you all this specs right here in here for people looking at new 1967 automobiles. So, kind of really makes you wonder whether we've advanced or not. You know? When the consumer information literally would give you the carburetor manufacturer and the carburetor model, tell you the diameter of the primary and secondary barrels on the carburetor, give you the fuel pump pressure, give you cylinder block bore spacing, coolant capacity, all that stuff. I'll let you guys look at some of that. I'll hold it up here for a second. You lost more buyers after the third spec. Yeah. Battery life and Bluetooth specs. That's exactly what people want to know. Does it have heated seats? Good point. Yeah. But literally, it really makes you wonder where we've come. Is like Bill says, does it have heated seats? Back then, they told you what the size of the primary and secondary barrels were on the carburetor. Cylinder bore spacing in the block. This was consumer information that they literally researched and published. That's right, Ken Nolan. Just to even find it anymore is like pulling teeth. Ken says you don't get it. You can't find it anywhere. So that's right, Randy. Better technology sometimes seems like it's made us dumber. Yep, nothing on here about backup cameras, heated seats, air-conditioned seats, heated steering wheels. Nothing about that. Cylinder block bore spacing, we got you covered. Compression ratio, we got you covered. But there again, that's what's so cool about these magazines, is going back in time and looking at this. And the crazy part about it, guys, is we're not even done. The next page, same thing. Cranks, timing, pistons, rods, valves. The second chart in the engine section. Type, number of cylinders, crankshaft material. And in fact, right here it says, steel cranks in 383s, 426s, and 440 Chryslers. It says cast iron or steel crank. Vibration dampener type, what kind of balancer it had. Number of main bearings and the diameter, the bearing material, main bearing lengths, thrust on bearing, rod length, center to center, rod weight, connecting rod material, rod bearing length, crank pin diameter, bare piston weight. They told you how much the pistons weighed. Clearance at top land of the piston, clearance at skirt, top compression ring width, oil ring width, piston pin diameter times length, timing drive. And Chevy had, actually, this is the 4 cylinders, the inline 6, and Chevy had a gear drive. Everything else had a chain. Number of cam bearings, rocker ratio, intake duration, valve timing sequence, valve lift, intake valve diameter, exhaust valve diameter, valve stem intake diameter, intake valve length, exhaust valve length, spring pressure valve open, spring height valve, string length valve open. I mean, it's just insane, the information that they gave you. Let's see, I got into this. Let's get some time. Let's get some caught up on some commentary. I missed a few of them. I haven't seen Deck Hive yet, but we ain't done. So it's like a builder's book for a machine shop guy. That's right, Randy. Doctorate degrees almost need to fix new cars. That's true, let alone the average person. That's for darn sure. Today they tell them the antifreeze is not Mountain Dew. Blinker fluid, anyone? Absolutely. So yeah, it's literally that crazy. But wait, there's more. The next page, drivetrain, transmissions, and rear axles. Actually, I'm going to show you guys some of this stuff. I'm going to hold this up. There's no way you're going to get it all, but you'll be able to read some of that stuff. That literally was that detailed, that crazy amount of information that they were putting out there for your general consumer to study. So on to the next page. Transmissions and rear axle, same thing. We start off over here with all of our manufacturers. That's right, Ozark Fox today. That's the engine you get. That's your option. Clutches, make, spring type, disc diameter. Literally told you the size of the clutch disc. Inside diameter, plate pressure, the make, number of speeds forward, synchronous, what tells you what synchro mesh first, ratios, first, second, third, overdrive ratio, trade name. And then we're into automatics. So that was first segment was manual. Now we're into automatics. Trade name, Power Glide, Turbo Hydromatic, Torque Flight, Cruise-O-Matic, Merc-O-Matic, all the stuff we're common with on the names. Cooling system, torque converter stall ratio, ratio at breakaway, ratio first, ratio second, ratio third, maximum upshift speed, maximum kickdown speed, axle ratios for manual transmissions, axle ratios for automatic transmissions, axle ratios for overdrive. This thing gave you the pinion offset and the ring gear diameter. This is insane. Yeah, that's right, Randy. Most people don't know what a manual is. Zach's got to bail off. Appreciate you being here. Check some of this stuff out. I mean, literally, this is just consumer information that they put together for this on the new 1967 cars. I mean, you could really do a pretty deep dive just in this one issue of any particular vehicle. But wait, there's more. Yes, there is more. One more section. This is the one from last week, Mark, May 1967 car life. So these are all specs on the new 1967 cars. The final segment, brakes, steering, suspension, battery, and electrical. In the brakes section, what did it give you? Front drums, diameter and width. Gave you wheelbase, front drums, diameter and width. Rear drums, diameter and width. Disc option, diameter and width. Drum swept area, gross lining, manual steering ratio. We're into the steering section. Manual steering ratio, manual steering turns lock to lock. Power steering ratio, power steering turns lock to lock. Power steering type. Steering kingpin angle, the angle of the kingpin, anti-roll bar, they told you how thick the sway bar was. Anti-roll bar diameter in inches, it told you how thick the sway bar was. Brake anti-dive in the front, front spring type, front ride rate, rear ride rate, rear springs width and length. Pete's got to bail off. Appreciate you being here, Pete. I mean, just insane. I mean, who in their right mind, if you went to the dealership and said, even if you went and asked them how big the front sway bar is, they probably don't even know what you're talking about. They researched this and put it all in here. Battery, number of plates, amps per hour rating. Electrical, alternator drive ratio, maximum charge, optional heavy duty alternator, engine cranking speed, and starting gear ratio. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get any of this on your new Mustang. I'm pretty sure they probably don't even know what any of this stuff would even be if you asked them. You would probably have to go buy the shop manual and try to look it all up yourself. But there it is. The detail in this article was just absolutely off the charts. That's right, Mark. You could absolutely order a car the way you wanted it with all this information. Because it told you if it had a heavy duty alternator available. It told you if it had disc brakes available. It told you what the engine options were. That's right, Randy. A salesman today would have zero clue on most of this stuff. But that's it. I figured you guys would get a kick out of that. I did. It was just off the charts insane about the information that was they researched and put in those charts. One more article that we want to touch on, then we're going to get into some ads. This article actually, and I kind of want to, I'm going to get off on a little bit of a tangent here, just, so bear with me a little bit. Automotive careers, part 2, executive salesmen and wreckers. Talks about different careers in the automotive field, different things you can do. Salesmen, engineers. Development engineer checks the sound level on a new transmission. Each part in an automobile must be drawn by a skilled technician. Plus, historian, mechanic, archaeologist, detective. That's Ken Gooding, a restorer of classic automobiles. So different types of jobs that they're talking about in the automotive world. Heat, optics, electricity, magnetism, sound analysis, metallurgy, nuclear physics, and mechanical applications thereof are the concerns of engineering staff members. Crash tests are an increasingly important part of research. So more careers that they talked about in the automotive world. Now, a lot of people today, getting into the car world, obviously you can go to trade school if you're going to work on cars. But what a lot of people don't realize, and I know we've talked about this a little bit before, so bear with me, and I'm going to get off on a little bit of a soapbox because to me, I think it's very important. And it may help somebody else. Maybe you, maybe your kids, maybe your friend's kids, maybe a nephew. But careers in the automotive world, obviously that's what I did. That's all I've ever done. Chrysler, obviously been in cars my whole life, working with Dad, worked in my uncle's body shop in high school. Went to college and worked a used car lot in college. And then I went straight to Chrysler. And a lot of people wonder how, if they don't know where I went to school, they wonder how'd you get straight into Chrysler? And that's because of where I went to school. So, Tim, I wonder if modern auto techs wouldn't have a need for that much information. Yeah, that's true. Much stuff is designed to replace a part. That's for sure. But Kevin's got to bail off. Glad you were here tonight. Randy, recruiting 60 years ago, still short qualified techs. Yep, that's 100% correct. And there are great tech programs out there, but a lot of people, where I went to school is actually, I think it's pretty amazing. I've actually got a bachelor's degree in automotive technology with emphasis in service management and a minor in business administration. That's how I got into Chrysler. I went to Pittsburgh State in Pittsburgh, Kansas. They've got literally one of the top automotive schools in the country. They have 2 programs. They have a 2-year tech program to turn out techs. They've got a 4-year bachelor's degree program. So you actually come out of there with a 4-year bachelor's degree, and you can do anything you want there. You can still go be a tech and still have a bachelor's degree. A lot of big dealer groups hire out of there. Obviously, I went straight to Chrysler. When we graduated, I went to Chrysler. One of my other roommates went to Chrysler. One of my other roommates went to Saturn when Saturn was still in existence back in the late 90s. And that's all because of that automotive program at Pittsburgh State in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Little town, 15,000 people, Division II school, one of the top automotive schools in the country, period. It is Pitt State and Ferris State in Michigan are probably the 2 top auto tech schools in the country. And like I said, that's where I went. If you know anybody looking for that is thinking about a career in the automotive world, they need to look at Pitt State, whether they want a 2-year program, technical degree, or a 4-year bachelor's degree in automotive technology. And it's not just automotive. They've got plastics, woods tech, manufacturing management, construction management. All of these tech programs are available with a bachelor's degree if you so desire. So that's right, Tweety. And it's everything: plumbers, carpenters, everything, HVAC. It's, those skills are in such high demand. But that was what was cool about Pitt State is you have the option to get a bachelor's degree with a technical emphasis on it, and all the major manufacturers hire out of that program, and it's all of them. The plastics program, Nike hires out of their plastics program. Construction management, the huge construction companies go there for their grads. Manufacturing management, same thing. Diesel and heavy, they've got a diesel and heavy emphasis in their automotive program. You can get a diesel and heavy degree, bachelor's degree. So much cool stuff there. So if you guys know anybody thinking about, a kid getting ready to go to college and wants to look at something in the automotive world, have them look at Pitt State. I love that school. It treated me extremely well. And when you look at career opportunities in the automotive world, there's literally a Pitt State Alumni Association chapter in Detroit, Michigan, from this little school in southeast Kansas, because there are so many guys up there in the automotive world in Michigan. So, Big Block been an industrial electrician for 25 years and exactly, even struggling to find apprentices, kids that are going to come in and try to work. Yeah, it's tough to find that. That's right, Tim. The tech and trades are not being promoted at all. And that's the nice thing about Pitt is if you do want a bachelor's degree, you can come out of there with a bachelor's degree and have the tech side to it. So pretty unique deal. There's a handful of schools in the country that do that. Pitt and Ferris are the top two. There are a handful of schools in the country that do plastics, and the same thing with woods and construction. There's just a handful of schools that do that. So Tweedledee, my son found a company that will have schooling in the company for plumbing. He signed up for it. Perfect. Great plan. Randy worked with 3 skill center schools recruiting young people for techs. That's right, Mark. Nobody wants to do the grunt work, and that's true. And work is work, and a lot of these jobs pay extremely well, but you've got to be extremely talented to do them. So anytime the careers in the automotive world comes up, it reminds me of what my path was. And I've had a lot of people that I met that went through that auto tech program after I did because they saw the opportunity, of what was really there. So that's what was cool. And like I said, it can be the manufacturer, it can be aftermarket parts, it can be dealer groups. I mean, they all hire out of there. So pretty neat deal and pretty unique situation down in southeast Kansas. So I apologize for getting off of my soapbox. When I hear careers in the automotive world, I know a lot of kids that have gone down to Pitt just after talking to them through their auto tech program that have been very successful. So I know it works not just for me, but for a lot of people. But anyway, on to some ads. Let's check out some ads, and we've also got some classifieds. That's right, Randy. Techs make 6 figures anymore. And it's a great career, and a lot of people don't realize that, but you're 100% correct. A good tech can make very good money. Ozark Fox learned from Chilton's and from doing it, and that's another way to do it as well. First ad, we're going to check out something a little bit different. It's kind of a Buick. It's kind of not. It's the Opal Rally, Buick's new Opal Rally. $2,192 on the little Rally Opal. That's right, Tweedledee. YouTube is a big help for a lot of stuff as well. Jeff's got to bail off. Glad you were here. Ken Nolan told my 18-year-old nephew to get into transmissions. Yep. Tim, didn't figure out doing tech certification at my hometown community college till 10 years ago. The next ad's pretty amazing, actually. It's the inside center. The more you want on a car, the more the mark of excellent means. General Motors accessories. All kinds of cool stuff in here. Transmission automatic, then a 4-speed console, Pontiac wheels, Rally 1s, Rally 2s, Pontiac camera motor. And this one, I understand, this is a fairly heavy Pontiac ad. We've got the camera here. We've got another Pontiac motor, Pontiac wood wheel, Pontiac wood grain dash. We've got side pipes here, which would have been Corvette. We see the Ram Air stuff for GTO. So it's really surprising how much Pontiac is in here compared to some of the other manufacturers in this one ad. Looks like a swap meet picture. Yeah, that'd be a pretty good swap meet to stumble on. Pretty good booth to stumble onto at a swap meet, though. The next ad is not a color picture. It's kind of a rough sketch. Any citation info? Nope, no citation info, Mark. Tweedledee's dad had a Chevy truck with 454 with side pipes on it. Tim's got to bail off. Glad you're here, Tim. Highway Improvement Program. One of the young mobiles from Oldsmobile. The new Olds 442 for 1967. And let's get to the back cover and then get to some classifieds. The inside of the back cover, or your Mustang as hot as you like, even Shelby hot. 2 fastbacks, a red fastback, and the GT500 in Shelby livery, even with a picture of Carroll himself right there with the car. And the back cover, Goldilocks and the 2 bears. The bear on the right is a stock Belvedere GTX. The bear on the left is also a stock GTX. The Belvedere, the bear on the right is a standard 440 cubic inch with a torque flight automatic and a 323 gear. The bear on the left is also a stock GTX with a heavy-duty 4-speed and a few options, including a 426 Hemi with a sure grip differential. Kind of a cool add on the 2 different variations of the GTX. One in a stock livery. Tim paid already. Perfect. Great. Yeah, and always, as always, guys, be sure to double check. Make sure you got your shipping info on that. Appreciate that, Tim. Classified ads for May of 1967. A couple of pretty cool ones in here. Not many pictures, though. In fact, not hardly any pictures. So we'll kind of flip through some of these here real quick. How about a 1923 Brescia Bugatti? Like new, many new parts, pistons, rod bearings, valves, springs, clutch plates, ring and pinion gears, and other parts reconditioned, some gearbox spares, and a photostat of the manual repair manual for 1923. $3,600. Obviously, a Bugatti is a fairly pricey car. 1923 Bugatti restored to $3,600. A couple of these I was able to look up, and no, there weren't any Barracudas. These were earlier than that on this stuff. But then I found one similar to that sold recently for $200K. This one was $3,600 in 1967. 1925 Bugatti Type 30 Racing Roadster. Good running condition. May be the only Type 30 in the States, asking $3,500. Seen one of those that sold recently or within the last few years for $300K. So $3,500 was pretty reasonable, I would say. Of course, you got to remember, $3,500 was more than a lot of these new cars. The 67 Chevelle SS was $2,800, I believe, for the base SS. So you got to remember, you could buy a new Chevelle for less than what these were. How about this one? 1964 Cobra. Silver, hard and soft tops, 325 horse. So I'm assuming that would have been a 289 Cobra in 64. I don't think they were putting the 427s in them yet, and the 260s would have been at the end by then. And being 3.25 horse, I'm betting this is a 64 Cobra with a 289. It has a radio, heater, low miles, never raced, immaculate. $5,000 or best offer. '34 Jaguar prototype SS1 2-seater roadster with a Chrysler engine. It does not say what, but it says Chrysler engine, hydraulic brakes, P80 headlamps, chassis body excellent. So I don't know what the deal was with the engine situation, but it was only $1,750 for a '34 Jaguar SS1. Kind of crazy to think about some of this stuff. 56 Continental Mark II, black, gray, red leather interior, air, wide white walls, full power. Obviously, the Mark II, a very unique car. Very few built. Super, super, super expensive cars. And, they still wanted $5,000 for this car in 67 on a 56. That was a 10-year-old used car. Of course, those cars were about $10,000 new, and Ford still lost money on them. But that was a lot of money in 67 for a 10-year-old used Lincoln. Of course, actually, they didn't technically call it a Lincoln. I think they called it a Continental as its own. So, yeah, I think any of us would take the Cobra. That's for sure. I know I would. But just pretty neat stuff. 1938 Mercedes 230B. Classic 5-passenger, 2-door convertible, 41,000 miles, near mint original, black, tan leather, twin side mounts, mechanically superb, drives anywhere, 6-cylinder. $2,900 for a 38 Mercedes Roadster. That's right, Randy. And like I said, if we only knew back then, and that's a very good point, However, when we look back at these other articles that we just studied a little bit ago, and we see what this stuff actually really cost at that time, that's where you've got to really put it into perspective. A new Mustang 2+2 fastback was $26.98. The 390 was $158. So a brand new 67 Mustang GT fastback with a 390 was $2,750. Andy says the problem was alive then. So you got to put that into perspective. You could buy a brand new 390 GT fastback Mustang for almost just barely over half what they wanted for that Cobra. So that's where you really got to weigh that stuff as to, it's kind of crazy, but you got to weigh that and factor that in as to what it really cost. A 67 Galaxy XL convertible was $3,493. So it's, a new Cadillac. Let's, look at new Cadillacs. A new Coupe de Ville was $53.92. So you're buying a 3-year-old used car with a removable hardtop or a soft top, and it was the same price as buying a brand new Cadillac. So that's where you got to put that into perspective as to what the where you were looking at when a new Coupe de Ville was $53.92 and they wanted $5,000. Yep, you guys are getting thirsty, aren't you? There you go. So kind of crazy to think about, but that's why it's always fun. That's why it's always fun when they have these old classified ads. It's always cool information. It's always fun to reminisce. It's always fun to look back, like at the Turbine article. Oh, this is coming in the 70s. 55 years later, and we still haven't seen them in production. So, but anyway, that does it for the May 1967 issue of Car Life. 2 weeks, both segments. We've done 2 or 3 magazines this way now, where we split them up and gives us a little more time to do a little bit of a deeper dive and keeps us from going 4 hours at night, which is a little much. But still looking for your feedback. Are we still good to go on that? Do you guys like the little deeper dives, or do you want more magazines that we skim a little quicker, to try to get through them and cover more info? So I personally like splitting them up. I like the deep dive. I think I get more out of it. I learn more than just trying to skim them. I hope you guys do too. But there again, I'm interested in your feedback now that we've done this a couple of times on splitting up the magazine and getting a little more out of them. Randy says definitely keep it split. The deep dive is better. Mark likes it. Tweela D, or everybody likes the deep dive. Good. I think we learn more, and that's what it's all about. X-Ray agrees. Anthony, everybody. Okay, perfect. Everybody loves it. There isn't one negative against it. So Rico digs it. Ken Nolan's with it. Perfect. Brian dispatch everybody. Perfect. I mean, there ain't one bad word about it. Great. Which means that I'm learning stuff, which means you guys are learning stuff, and that's what makes it fun. So anyway, perfect. I'm glad that's working out better. I'm glad we all like it, and I'm glad there's just more of them. Just deep dive. Let's get in it. Perfect. Answers that question. Now that we've done it a few times with that kind of feedback, I feel confident that we are definitely on to something. Trivia question. We got another bow tie badge to give away. Ozark, in 1968, my father bought a 57 Metro for $35 and drove it to work for 4 years on $35. Pretty good deal. Another one of the plastic bow tie badges. This is a fairly decent size one. Cool ornament piece. To the D says, here's Chad. I still don't think I'm as good as Johnny Carson, but 6.5-inch Chevrolet bow tie on the trivia tonight. Oh, speaking of learning something else I want to talk about, completely off topic, but I want to see if any of you. No, Jason, we did not do trivia last week because last week was the auction, and I barely got an episode patched together the way it was. So we didn't do trivia. That was one of the I knew I wasn't going to get to it because I knew it was going to be. Alec, even on Facebook, says split it up. So Facebook agrees, YouTube agrees, split up the magazine. Perfect. So no, we didn't do trivia last week because I knew it was going to be everything I had to just patch something together after the auction last Saturday. But anyway, as always, I'm going to put it on a timer. You got 90 seconds just because so we're not sitting here waiting for 3 or 4 minutes as people go through old videos looking for the answer. We're going to give away a plastic Chevrolet bow tie badge this week. In the Cadillac video, the 91 and the 93, the blue car had a dealer badge. What was the name and what state was it from? Name and state. If you don't get the city, I won't worry about it, but I want name and state. So number one's got part of it. We don't have the dealership yet. The name of the dealership and the state. There we go. Number one got it. It was Classic, and he had the whole thing. I actually didn't think anybody would remember the city, but I figured the name of the state. Classic in Falmouth, Maine was the dealership on the blue Cadillac. And number one, get me your address. I need to get this box sent to you. We've got a couple of handfuls of stuff here for you. So fire that off to me again, and I'll get this shipment ready for you. Since now that I'm through the auction and things are kind of calming back down, I need to get some of these loose ends kind of tied up. So yeah, he doesn't write the trivia. Nobody knows this stuff but me. He goes through and he looks for those little details. And he's very good at looking for those little details. The two AMCs were Gremlin and Ambassador. That must have been in. Oh yeah, that was in the Salvage Yard video. Yeah, so you got all these. He picks out all these little details. So I got something. I did learn something else though. Anybody want to know any really weird off the wall facts that don't mean anything? It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. You guys asked what I was reading. I'm reading that book on Martin Bormann and the high-powered Nazis that escaped Europe after the war. So I found some interesting things in that book. I'm going to ask you another question. If anybody gets it, I'll figure something out. But I learned something that I had zero clue about these high-ranking Nazi officials. Like, so this is completely off topic. It just shocked me when I read it. There was basically an underground railroad system sneaking these high-powered Nazis out of Europe. And this is in 46, 47, 48, 49, those several years after the war. There was an underground railroad system sneaking high-powered Nazis out of Europe. Who ran that? That's right, number one. A lot of them ended up in Argentina. Who ran that underground railroad? This was fascinating. This blew my mind when I read it. We'll give everybody a few seconds, see if anybody knows it. But Amtrak. Good guess, Bill, but no, it was not Amtrak. But kind of, it blew my mind when I read this. I never in a million years would anybody have guessed this. That is a good idea, Anthony. The Rothschilds. Even though because it is that wild, even though they stole everything the Rothschilds had, their art collection, everything, they robbed them blind. This is almost that weird. This was literally almost that weird. Scott says the Swiss. Nope, it wasn't the Swiss. But there again, with Switzerland trying to stay neutral, let's get Rockefellers. No. Occidental Petroleum. No. You guys have some great ideas, actually, some great guesses. But this is what's even weirder, though. It's one of the. There he is. Alan was right. The Vatican. Alan came up with the Vatican was actually who helped run the Underground Railroad to get high-powered Nazis out of Europe. So I want to know the truth, Alan. Did you Google that, or did you actually know that? Yeah, all these wows are popping up now. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I read it. I was going to read this book. It's like, the Vatican? Yep. So, yeah, I want to know, Alan, if you really knew that or if you Googled it. I'm really curious if you actually knew that that's what happened. But, yeah, all the wows that are popping up, that's kind of what I thought. So, Anyway, now get with me, Alan. If you really knew that and didn't cheat and Google it, I'll get you something. So, that's right, Brian. Why did they do that? There was a certain group in the Vatican. It wasn't the entire Vatican. There was a certain group of priests, bishops, whatever, that helped. I mean, they literally ran a full underground railroad. They hid these guys out in safe houses around Italy and other areas in there, and then would get, and just like I believe who said something about Spain? Yeah, number one through Spain. A lot of them went out through Spain, and Scott says look up Sir Nicholas Winton as well. That ought to be interesting. So yeah, Alan, big history guy. Saw many of the same programs over the past few years. Cool. Glad you knew that. So yeah, get with me. I'll fire something off to you. Jay said he was just going to guess the Catholic Church just on a whim. Yep, and that's literally what it was. So anyway, completely off topic. I just thought that was so far out there that a lot of you guys would be interested to hear that. Anyway, this month's raffle. Brian Dispatch's parents would roll in their graves if they knew that. Yeah, it's that wild. It is that weird. Another Nazi plan, real quick, and the reason, and I can tie this to cars. The Nazis actually had another plan as kind of a last-ditch effort that I read in this book. This book is about Martin Bormann, who was the Reichsleiter, who was basically Hitler's Secretary of State, essentially. And he did escape to Argentina, and they did live on Nazi loot that had been shipped to Argentina, even though Perón did keep the bulk of it. The high-powered Nazi officials that did get to Argentina did live very, very well on the looted goods that they stole and shipped to Argentina, during the war. But the Nazis did have a last-ditch effort planned. It did not go through. But the reason it's so funny is it ties to a movie that we all know and love. David W's got to bail off. They literally had a plan to kidnap the Pope. They were working on a plan to kidnap the Pope. I thought this was absolutely hilarious because if any of us remember, we got a chance to make a run for some big bucks, $80,000. Oh, great. What we got to do? Kidnap the Pope or something? How'd you guess? Nope. All we got to do is run over to Texarkana, pick up 400 cases of Coors, and bring it back in 28 hours. So I thought that was hilarious that the Nazis literally actually did plan to kidnap the Pope, and they actually used that line in Smokey and the Bandit. He was like, we got a chance to rig a run for some big bucks. What we got to do? Kidnap the Pope or something? Little side note, but thought it was hilarious. Scott on Facebook, Sir Nicholas Winton had a kinder transport that he used to get 669 children out of Czechoslovakia. Okay. So he ran what was called a kinder transport to get 669 children out of Czechoslovakia. So that sounds like a really cool story in and of itself. Sir Nicholas Winton got 669 children out of Czechoslovakia. Now, and this is a Facebook comment, so you guys on YouTube can't see this. But Scott is on with us on Facebook. Sir Nicholas Winton ran this kinder transport to save these children. Scott's dad was one of those children. That kind of puts it into perspective real quick, doesn't it? That all these things were happening trying to save people. And that was something that, Scott's dad was literally one of those children that was saved in that kinder transport, getting him out of Czechoslovakia. So that's pretty cool. Scott, thanks for sharing that. Sir Nicholas Winton sounds like definitely a good read and definitely something worth looking into. So appreciate you sharing that story with us, Scott. That's pretty cool. And obviously we're glad he made it out safely. So Sebastian's jumping on with us. But anyway, back to the raffle. Let's get raffle knocked out and get rolling on with our evening. Obviously this month, the Delco battery sign. This is off a battery rack. It is a painted tin sign, 50s, maybe 60s. Delco yellow and white, blue letters, 15 3/4 inches long, 7 3/4 high, painted tin, single-sided sign. Who is in after the first week? Scott, his mother and her brother did not escape. They did die in a camp. So there again, that's pretty heavy stuff when we sit back and think about that. But there again, there were a lot of people that did some amazing things during that time period. And it sounds like Sir Nicholas Winton was absolutely one of them, and definitely worth looking something up for. And that sounds like a heck of a read. So there, once again, Scott, thanks for sharing that. And we got a bunch of wows on Facebook or on YouTube when we shared that story too. So, Randy, history must be shared. Those that don't know it are doomed to repeat it, and that is 200% correct. Number one super group in the chat this week after week. Everybody sharing helps. That is absolutely right. Can Nolan, one sniper in Vietnam got 16 headshots in 30 to 40 seconds at night. Guys were crossing the river and he was in the rear guard. Stopped a lot of others from running across the river. Yeah, I'm sure. That's crazy. So anyway, but thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. Anyway, this month's raffle for the Delco sign. Tweedly D, Jason Withrow, Charles Fritz, Zach Thompson, Reno Holland, Kenny Peterson, and Ron Walensky, as well as Alec Blanchett. Those names are in the Big Buick oil can as of right now for the Delco sign at the end of the month, giving it away on October 30th. So be sure to get your chances in for that. $1 per chance. If you add them to raffle, add them to your auction winnings or whatever, make sure you note how much is for raffle and and your auction winnings so that I can tie all that together and make sure I get you checked off and paid on all your auction stuff and get the appropriate amount of chances in the can, as well as, and some of you guys want t-shirts, things like that. Please just give me an idea what the stuff is for so I make sure I get it all right. It gets pretty hectic trying to keep up with it. I do my best. If I've missed anything, guys, please call me, let me know. If I didn't get you something that I should have, and we'll get it squared away. So if I do miss something, by all means, give me a call. Tweedledee, his wife actually lived through the Vietnam War. Mad Cow Mark, evening, everybody. Glad you made it tonight for a little bit, even though we're about ready to wrap up. Glad you got the end of it. So that's who's in. Jump in. Don't miss your chance. We're giving that thing away on October 30th. New inventory. The only thing I picked up this week, if you guys were checking out the F&E Collector Auto Auction, we had one truck that was in the project row, but it was a little more leaning towards the parts side, but it was already there before we realized it. So we went ahead and sold it. I bought it. It was a 1990 Chevy 1-ton crew cab, fuel injected 454 big block, power windows, power locks, pretty well loaded up truck. I ain't a straight panel on it, but it's got a lot of good options on it. So hauled that one in. We'll be getting you a video on that 1990 crew cab Chevy soon. What other new videos are coming up? We may try to get that Chevy video up. We'll bring you some more from the yards from when I was out on the road. I'll get another one of those videos up. I've got about a half dozen of those, so we'll get another one of those up this week. Another video I'm going to bring you, and I've got some more of these to do. This fall, I want to... Ozark Fox lives in the city, and he just had a raccoon on his porch. That's kind of weird being in the city. But what I'm doing is up front, up by the buildings, up by the highway, I want to reshuffle that, reorganize all of that this year. There's about 20 or 30 cars and trucks up there. 70s F-250 Rangers. I think just the only I've got that's actually an F-250 Ranger, I think, is my good one, my red and white one that I'm keeping. I don't think I've got any other F-250. I got a bunch of F-150s. I've got one F-350. But all that stuff up front, a lot of those cars, most of those are complete solid projects, but they've been sitting there for a year or two. Haven't had any serious offers on a lot of that stuff. So I'm going to reshuffle that. A lot of those are going to go to the back and be parted out. And I've got a bunch of stuff sitting around that is good, complete projects that I'm going to reshuffle up to the front. So we'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 videos of those coming up before they go to the back. So if there's something you're interested in, whether it was something you've actually kind of been thinking about, or if it's something you've been kind of sitting around waiting on parts for, just be sure to give me a call, because something's going to happen with them here sooner rather than later. And I want to reshuffle that whole front area up there by the buildings right on the highway. So anyway, that's what I've got for tonight. As always, I super appreciate you guys swinging by, spending basically your whole Sunday evening with me. We better give you another one of these. I bet you're all thirsty. And making this chat what it is. Just so much great stuff. Mark says, don't forget about the plane. Yeah, we're going to definitely be bringing you more on the plane as soon as I figure out what the heck to do with it. My buddy Jeff's got some ideas. We're going to look it over. I'm going to get some dimensions off of it. I also know the sheriff pretty well. I'm thinking about asking him if maybe we can kind of back road it and maybe have one of his deputies follow me or something with it. I don't know. We'll see. Rico, maybe it's time to repost project videos. Yeah, that's what a lot of this stuff is. Another walk around, Eric. We did a walk around about a month ago. I usually like to keep those 2 to 3 months spread apart because not always a lot changes within the first within a few weeks. So it'll be another month or so before we get to another. Just go wander around on Sunday morning. Brian loves the mid '60s mags. Yeah, that was a pretty good one we did. So yeah, we'll get it'll be another month, maybe 6 weeks before we do a live walk around. But that's some of that stuff on them. I'm going to call them inventory update videos. So keep an eye out for those, or keep an eye out for an Auburn badge too. You can keep an eye out for that. And just give me a shout if you got any questions about it. So some of that stuff, it's going to be kind of a shame to part it out, but there again, they are investments. I've got money sitting there. They need to make money one way or the other. And if nobody's going to build them, then the pieces are going to help save some other ones. So anyway, like I said, obviously it was a great night tonight. The plane, we're going to bring a lot of cool stuff for the plane. I just got to figure out what to do with it. And I don't have any clue. Like I said, Jeff said he'd get a tube in that tire so that we'll at least be able to pick the back up and try to roll it somehow or another. And then figure out where I'm going to dump it at the yard till I get some things moved around and exactly how and when and where and why. And I don't know. Sounded like a great idea at the time. Sounded like an outstanding idea at the time. It is out of the trees. They did get it moved out of the trees, and it's sitting over by Jeff's hangar. So I do, it is over at Jeff's, so I'm good there. Ozark Fox put the plane on a pole out in front of the Edsel on used cars. That'd be a heck of a job to put it up on a pole. Since it is a tail dragger, and the tail's bunged up. The tail's banged up and it is a tail dragger. Since it is a tail dragger, it sits like this. So that's kind of why I was hoping to put the nose out towards the highway, let the damaged tails sit down behind the cars. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Bill says, always a great time hanging out with a bunch of nobodies. That it is. Tweedledee, nobody's airlines. I don't know about that. I don't think you want to fly in this thing. Put it on a tall pole, man. That would be a lot of work to put a pole in. Even though, it's not extremely heavy. There's no engines or anything. But it's pretty good size. It is. I'm going to measure it this week. I'm going to go measure it this week. But they think it's 35 or 40 feet long, is what Jeff and Cameron, is the guy that works for Jeff, were guessing. But I'm going to go measure it this week. I'm going to get some dimensions. Now that I'm kind of somewhat getting back on a kind of even keel, that's one of the projects I've got to get on. Get some dimensions on it. Try to come up with an idea. But the wheels, the landing gear, is a 14-foot spread. So the two main landing gear wheels are 14 feet across. So Eric says, okay, 4 or 5 poles. Yeah, that's right, Brian. We need a heck of a pole out here in Kansas with the wind. Randy says, great show as always. Learn more than just automotive history. Thanks for sharing. Knowledge is power. Absolutely perfect. And that's right. Everyone have a safe and blessed week. Absolutely. Thanks, Randy. With that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. I will keep an eye on comments for a few more seconds. Am I caught up on everything I've got bought? Heavens no. I'm down around 50 to pick up, but that's about it. But that's I'm literally down at around 50 cars to pick up. But that's something else I've got to get on. I've got to get on as well and start hauling some cars this week. Lots of people saying good night, getting ready to sign off. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate everybody making this what it is. And even some of the new ones, Jewish Redneck, I don't think I've seen you with us before. We had several new names. Even had 1 or 2 new winners in the auction tonight. That's what makes this thing tick. That's what makes this thing fun, is the new people, the new information. Did you get anything, Tweedledee? I don't remember. Happy Thanksgiving in Canada, says Anthony. No, Tweedledee, I don't have you on anything tonight. What happened there? You must have got sniped. I'm sure you'll be back in next week, though. So I guess that does it. I'm going to wrap up. We'll catch you Tuesday night for some more Toy Tuesday live at 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll get some of these new videos out, some of the other salvage yard stuff, the inventory updates, possibly that crew cab Chevy. Plus, like I said, I got to start hauling cars this week, so I'll have some more of those. We may have some other cool stuff coming in yet this week to bring some content on as well. So, that's it. Yeah, Mark thought he had bad luck. Mark got a couple things, but Mark got sniped on a bunch of them too. So, but that's what makes it fun sometimes, and I appreciate all you guys being great sports about it. And we don't have the attitudes, the egos. We have a lot of fun, and that's what it's about: having fun, adding to your collections, and having a good time. That being said, I'm going to sign off. We'll see you Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Plus, we will definitely see you back here 7 o'clock next Sunday night live chat for more Sunday night silliness. So, perfect, Mark. Yep, give me a shout. Anybody else have any questions about the auction stuff or anything else, just give me a call tomorrow. And X-Ray Dean says always fun, and that's what it is. It is a good time, and that's what's important. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for making this what it is. Thanks for your participation. Thanks for your support. And we will see you Tuesday. And if we don't see you Tuesday, we sure hope to see you back here next Sunday night. Thanks for watching, everybody.